Morning, everyone, and welcome to the VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia FSL Open 5 playoffs. It's a tournament circuit that's dedicated to growing the competitive women's gaming scene here in the region, proudly sponsored by Intel and supported by Yahoo. Today is day 3, and we are entering the semi-finals of the FSL Open 5 playoffs, where 4 remaining teams will be competing not just for the championship crown of the FSL Open 5, but also earn as many points as they can to qualify for FSL Elite later in the year. I am your host, Tanya May, bringing to you live from the equator here in Singapore. Joining me on the desk is Marquis.
Hello. We've had some amazing games the past few days, and I think that today and tomorrow are just going to be really great. And I think that the format changes to VCT when VCT Game Changers came to FSL really helped a lot in bringing out these teams. And watching best of threes is amazing. We've seen so many overtimes, so many map picks, and a lot more variances in how the teams like grow and develop. And I think it's just amazing to watch.
Yeah, and you casted 2 out of the 4 series that we had yesterday. And just taking a look at the brackets right here, where we saw Alter Ego go up against Galaxy Racer. And that's really the one that stood out to us, didn't it? That's the one where even though they won 2-0 against Kid My Org, it was the closest it was the closest that any team really has come to beating them with 3 overtimes on Ascent. But do you think it was a case of other teams catching up, or do you think Alter Ego was having an off day?
It might be stylistically just a harder matchup for A Celeste versus other teams, because Kid My Orc, we've seen them drop against other teams in the lower bracket in Open 4, but they did take one map off of A Celeste in Open 4, which is rare because A Celeste have only dropped 4 maps in this whole circuit for 2021, and KMO was responsible for that Icebox loss. And maybe something about their style, it just really makes it difficult for ACLS to play their game. This 2-0 looks like it's an easy 2-0, but like you mentioned, it was very close. The first map went to triple overtime. I'm not sure if they were having maybe an off day, but ACLS did still show the signs of brilliance that they did in the previous opens. KMO did make them work for it though, so I would say that maybe they weren't having the best day, and KMO were having a pretty good day relatively.
And
But
what
I
is
think,
it?
yeah, sorry,
What is
go
it
ahead.
about the KMO style that you mentioned that is throwing AE Celeste off their game?
Yeah, we know Thai players are probably the best players in Southeast Asia. We were represented by X10 in Masters, so I think that was actually the Thai FPS scene is actually just really, really good, and Kid My Orc is showing that, and they have the fragging power. Enerio was punished so many times for aggressive positioning, and I think that teams are starting to really take a look at Ace Let's playbook and say, okay, we want to beat them. So how do we beat them? And they're preparing strats to actually punish Ace Let's aggression, and we've seen that multiple times in Ascent where they got punished for pushing out, and Kid My Orc really came in prepared that day.
Yeah, especially at B main, which is really where AE Celeste
Yeah.
won a lot of their games.
Yeah,
So
B
we
main was just punished so hard. Sometimes it's B main, sometimes it's from mid link straight to A short, and they just got punished over and over again. They were just really ready for Azeless, at least for Ascent, which is why they picked it. But they weren't really that ready in Icebox.
Yeah, and we are gonna jump into today's matchups where we will be seeing AE Celeste a little bit later. But first off, we will start off with the lower bracket round two, where we are gonna see Renatus White go up against Magnifique in a best of three once again. And the winner will face either Kid My Orc or Erika Arista in the next round. And it will be casted by yourself as well as Kendall Hey I'm Quack. And also heading into the upper bracket, again, we're going to see AE Celeste go up against Galaxy Racer, and one of these teams will qualify for the grand finals, and the other will drop to the lower bracket in round three. And we will be joined again by Control Ham Quack as well as Eliza.
Yeah, I'm excited for the matchups. If for later today, we will see Alter Ego Celeste go against a Galaxy Racer with a new team house, and we were joking around in the casters that it's a team house buff. They really beat Renatus White, and that is something that came as a surprise. It's not unexpected, but they really showed that their attacking side is a lot better now. For Renatus White, we kind of ranked them as like a second, third place coming into this playoffs. So seeing Galaxy Racer really improve, especially after they got their team out, really shows how much they've invested into this team and how much they're invested into getting better and really going for FSL.
Yeah, it's always a difference when you get to play, next to the people. You get to communicate a lot better. We always see on pro streams, even now where we don't have offline events, but people do make the effort, to come together, to play together. It just makes such a difference.
Yeah, and being in the same room, it's not just being together physically, but also I think there's a feel of that emotion when you're in the game, right? Like if you're playing alone, sometimes maybe a player can feel, oh, okay, dejected. Maybe they're not getting frags. They feel a little bit worse because they're not performing well, and maybe the rest of the team is performing. That single player might just go into tilt, is what a lot of people like to call it. If you're five of you are in the room, you're stringing those rounds, you'll be a little bit feel a little bit better, even though you're not performing that well, because you see your teammates. Then you can think to yourself, yes, I can just support my teammates, make sure that they. I mean, what's important here is they get the rounds, they get the win on the map. Individual performance in the end, a grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter as long as your team gets the map win. So I think that being in the same team house really makes such a big difference.
And that really reminds me of what Taratel said from A Celeste. She said that at the end of the day, for FPS, it's really about your confidence. And the way that she leads her team is making sure that everyone feels good at the point in the game so that they don't drop in terms of confidence.
Yeah, and you can see that in the games yesterday. You hit the nail on the head. Kid My Orc came in with some confidence. Like a lot of people who play against A Celeste, they feel scared, and because of that, they can't really do much against A Celeste. For Kid My Orc, they played really confidently, even though they were on the back foot sometimes, and that confidence really shook A Celeste. Like A Celeste, they like feeling confident, they like feeling comfortable, and Kid My Orc made them feel uncomfortable for a few rounds. You could tell by their playstyle. They had to resort to a lot of passive playstyles for a lot of the time because Kid Arc was really making them uncomfortable.
Yeah, and moving on to just taking a look at how the teams got her here in the first place, it's really all thanks to our FSL circuit, where we are now obviously in our FSL Open, and we still have FSL Open Overtime and FSL Wildcard that's coming up.
Yeah, so we have the full format now. Just to remind everyone, initially FSL Elite was two top four teams, but with the expansion to VCT Southeast Asia Game Changers, FSL Elite now is comprised of 8 teams, with 3 teams from the Open, 3 teams for Overtime, and 2 from the Wild Card. Of course, A Celeste has already secured their spot with their circuit points for FSL Elite. We are now in Open number 5, which is in July, like it's here. We're actually going to bleed through August, but um, Open 5 now and AE Celeste are still dominating. We'd definitely like to see other teams step up and maybe dethrone the Queens. But if you take a look at all the Open 1 to 4 that's transpired, it's all AE Celeste dominance there. So I really want to see Galaxy Racer maybe or Kid My Orc go from the lower bracket and upset Alter Ego Celeste in the grand finals, hopefully.
And of course, the prize pool here, $25,000 USD. For the Open, we are getting 5,000 USD, and it's the same split for the wild card as well.
Yeah, and facility course $25,000 prize pool for Open 5. This is the breakdown of the prize pool. It's really great to see the teams work hard for the circuit and get the grand prize. Work for the grand prize especially, but of course, as long as you make it to the playoffs, you still get a little bit of the share of the prize pool. So speaking of playoffs, there are some teams that are relatively new in this playoff. Magnifique is number 8 in the standings, but they're not a they're not always in the playoffs, and we see them back again here in the playoffs with Oasis Gaming Aqua tied with them, who are actually unfortunately not in the playoffs for Open 5. They did not make it out of groups this time around. They were the second place last Open.
Yeah, I remember watching those matches. But it is very telling, right, for the leaderboard that AU Celeste are right on top at 40 points, and they've basically qualified for FSL Elite just by the sheer number of points that they have by winning
Yeah.
all the previous Opens.
Yeah, the magic number was 41. So by qualifying to the playoffs, they guarantee at least 2 points. And because of that, they're actually secured for FSL Elite already. And this is basically how the groups went. We have Hashira coming in as well, relatively newer team. They joined Open 4 and they made it to playoffs for Open 5. So I think that's really interesting. We're starting to see more and more teams. It's not just the same top 8 every single time around. And I think that's really great because you can see the level of competition. Like if the same 8 teams make it to the playoffs every single time, it just means that the level of competition is not going up. But now we're actually starting to see more and more teams come in, different team names coming in. And speaking of team names, it was really funny. Like we were looking through the different teams that actually entered, and there was I think Kentrell mentioned this yesterday. There's a team called Wash Dish, which is a which is a pun on Jet's Wash Dish, which
Yeah.
and their team logo is actually Jet washing dishes. It's like, wow, okay.
That's so cute. We love that meme.
Yeah, and people are really having fun here, and I do hope to see more and more teams join FSL.
And the teams that we will be taking a look at today, the first off is Renatus White, as you mentioned. They've come quite a long way here. You expect them to be in the top 3, but they are from Singapore, so right
Yep.
where we are. And they are running their usual 6-woman roster, and comprising of their in-game leader and duelist, Envious, Mochiex, Rue, Keferdite, Kohabi, as well as Chloe.
Yeah,
And
and
yesterday, in our second match on the English stream, Renatus White actually met Galaxy Racer in the upper bracket quarterfinals, and they lost 2-0 on Icebox and Haven.
yeah, that was actually a matchup that we expected to be closer. It was actually pretty close still, but we expected it to go all 3 maps. But Galaxy Racer, of course, as we mentioned, Team House buff was a bit too strong for them. So Renatus White, they also didn't seem like they were having that good of a day. I think that especially for the players, we were taking a very close look at uh Kohaibi, especially. Yeah. So Kohaibi with average combat score greater than 300. She has the second highest average combat score in Open 4. We were expecting her to really give Galaxy Racer a run for their money, but it seemed like Galaxy Racer were just a little bit sharper, a little bit faster yesterday.
Yeah, Kohavi was really the standout player. Even on their matches before on the same map on Icebox, she popped off on Reina when they actually won on it. But yesterday, looking at the scoreboard, she was kind of below, not really getting the frags off that she wanted, not really entering for her team. And as you watch and you cast them, a lot of their losses is because Kohavi just can't step up. And the criticism for Renatus White is that a lot of casters also say that they aren't really playing as a team. They tend to be a little bit more individually skilled, and when it comes to the perfect coordination kind of teamwork scenario, they're not really there. Do you think like it was because Kohibi herself was not stepping up, or do you think it was because her team wasn't supporting her enough?
I wouldn't say it's either one's fault. Kohibi, I would say still stepped up, but it's just Galaxy Racer were just a lot more coordinated that day because uh, in FPS games you don't always perform or in any performance game actually you don't perform at the same level every single time. So
Yeah.
maybe yesterday was just Galaxy Racer having a higher hitting a higher
Mhm.
flow, and Renatus White on the other hand were just not getting that flow. It just sometimes those are bad days. Some people have good days. Some teams have
Yeah.
are just struggle that day, right? So I
Yes.
wouldn't say it's her fault or her teammate's fault for not supporting her, but Galaxy Racer were just sharper, and maybe it's a team house buff.
Yeah, maybe it is. And challenging them up today is Magnifique, who are representing Thailand here. Delaney, Canon, Eliza, Jane, Tobuki, and Cherix on the roster. They did make top 8 in Open 2 and Open 3. And in Open 4, they lost in the lower bracket final. So here in Open 5, they find themselves once again in the lower bracket. Can they go further? That's the question.
Yeah, it looks like they were a step behind Alter Ego Celeste. So Kid My Orc was really close in the series with Alter Ego Celeste, but in the start of the playoffs, Magnifique versus Alter Ego Celeste, the first and the 8th seed, it was actually quite a big differential in terms of rounds. It was, I believe, 13-1 and 13-3 in the two maps, and they really struggled to get the rounds against Alter Ego Celeste. But making it to the playoffs again just shows that they can still qualify for the playoffs, and they can give the other teams a run for their money. So we
And of
see,
course, yeah,
yeah,
we see here Cannons and Delaney, the two girls that have came all the way from CS:GO. They did mention that they went through thick and thin together through that game, and now again here in Valorant. I mean, knowing that these two teams, they like to play around, for example, Magnifique, they like to play around these two players. It's either one of these girls who are going to take the MVP. And for Renatus White, they are going to play around Kohivi. Do you think like they're going to target the star players, or do you think they're going to end up picking off the rest of the team?
I think that the most effective Valorant that we've seen so far in the playoffs are the ones that really employ a lot of teamwork, because it's not all about the star player every single time. Especially in this new meta, like a lot of the teamwork utility is way more expensive now. You can't just use utility every single time, so it all comes down to whether the teams are prepared in their defense, their rotations, and on the attacking side, of course, their executes, whether they can actually pull it off.
Yeah, it is so expensive right now. I feel like I'm in inflation every time I go into the game. It's like everything's more expensive. You gotta buy light shields in order just to get a proper gun,
Yeah.
or you sacrifice utility.
You saw it a lot yesterday as well with a lot of light shield buys. That slightly more expensive utility just really makes it more difficult to always have full utility every single round.
Yeah, and we are going to jump into the map selection quite soon, where we see which teams have picked what maps. But in the meantime, also speaking about utility, there is one agent on in Valorant that released quite recently that doesn't allow you to use utility. And the interesting thing is that so far, if you think about KO, the first name that comes to mind is Ayumi, and other teams haven't really quite integrated him into their agent lineup. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it may be just too early for KO. Right now, I think a lot of the teams are still trying to figure out which agents to use in this new patch, and KO has kind of fallen out of favor for some of the teams because to Sky is the relatively better initiator for others because she can heal. She also has the concuss. She can get a little bit more information than KO does with his suppressed blade. So it's, I think, a matter of flavor, whether which flavor you want. But for Ayumi, who also came from CS:GO, I think KO really feels like that agent that makes it seem like it's CS, because you shut off, you suppress all the skills, then it becomes a gunfight. You just take that gunfight duel one on one, and it's like no skills this time around. So I think that's actually an interesting um agent choice for Ultra Celeste.
Yeah, especially since they seem very, very confident going into all the gunfights. They're gonna peak and they say like, I'm gonna win this duel
Yeah,
every single time.
yeah. That's when KO becomes a duelist.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that because when you look at the Pro VCT circuit, a lot of the teams that have been running KO actually didn't make it to the main event. And the top teams, talk about TSM, T1, they actually did not run KO comps in order to get to where they are.
Yeah,
So it's
and we'll really have to see what, because we're starting to see the different teams change up their agent lineups. I think from Open 1 to 4, the agent lineups were relatively static. We didn't really see much changes until KO came in, and now we're actually starting to see more Sky as well in terms of the lineup. That's something that we weren't seeing in Opens 1 to 4. So I think that initiators really are going to be the key to winning rounds, especially on the attacking side here.
Yeah, the initiators have played such a big role. Besides Sova, of course, you mentioned Sky is now coming up, and a lot of teams like to run both of these together, especially on Breeze.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see how these teams adapt. Like you mentioned, seems to start to become a favorite map pick as well. We're starting to see the teams drafted. It's in map 3 for a lot of the best of 3s we've seen. Unfortunately, none of the upper bracket games went to game number 3. But it seems like there is a best of 3 that has Breeze as the first map. So that's actually really interesting for me.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing more of that. Actually, just not just Breeze, right? It's Icebox as well that somehow teams started picking them up,
Yeah.
and we have not seen Split. We really haven't seen much of Haven, and
There's
it's
no
quite
bind.
interesting. Yeah, and there's no Vine at all.
Yeah.
So it seems like teleporters are out of fashion, and long range engagements are the way to go.
Yeah. And I'm just excited to see how the meta develops even further, especially as we play, especially in the grand finals where it's going to be a best of 5.
And we are going to jump into game right now. So the first match of the day, we are going to see Renatus White go up against Magnifique. To kick it off in round 2 of this lower bracket, I'm going to hand it over to your casters, Key as well as Control. I am Quack. Take it away.
You got
Whoa.
teleported.
Here I am. How are you doing, Key?
They beamed you in. I'm excited for this matchup. It seems like we're gonna go on Icebox first this time around. Yesterday we casted a game between AE Celeste and Kid by Orc. It was Ascent Icebox Breeze. It seems like the map picks now are also quite interesting. It's gonna be Icebox, Ascent, and Breeze.
Very similar, with the exception of, I guess, Haven. But yeah, so much Icebox being picked this time around. It's very interesting to see. I'm curious to know what the decision-making process is like. But at the very least, I think it's fair to say that maybe for Renatus White, the fact that they pick Icebox so much, this is starting to look like one of their home maps, and they need to be prepared to take down teams. I mean, yesterday they played against GXR, and that was it came close, but man, that was just quite tragic if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it was really close, but I'm just excited to see how they improve because it really just shows that teams are improving and they are raising the level of competition. And that's what we really want to see here. We want VCT game changers to be even more competitive to the point that maybe they'll make it to a master someday.
Oh yes, I certainly hope that they will. I mean, seeing an all-female team in Masters, that would be the dream. But interestingly enough, Deline hovering over the KO. I hope she picks it because that's going to be very, very fun to watch. You guys talked about KO a little bit during the pre-show, but I mean, aside from okay, yeah, you suppress abilities, turn it into like Counter Strike and whatnot. I think KO, he's one of those agents that's just might actually perform well in something like ranked, where it's very puggy, not everyone's on the same page, but in a full-on competitive game where everyone knows what they're doing, it's all full-on coordination. You're gonna have to be a little bit more careful, right? I mean, with all these ability changes and now KO, unless you have a real game plan that circles around suppression, it might not be the best thing in the world. And that's why I guess Deline is swapping over onto Omen now. Meanwhile, Renatus White looks like they're actually going with the exact same team composition that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and speaking of KO, you're actually right. I think maybe you're onto something here. A lot of the teams don't really like running KO, especially in the other scenes as well. I think the most recent one that KO was actually played in was the Team Liquid game against Giants Gaming. But uh, the worst part about this is that Team Liquid actually lost.
Oh,
Scream
no.
was on the KO, but he was performing really well. Actually had the best ACS in the best of 3 for Team Liquid, but
Hmm.
you know, it really is. I think it's a matter of flavor. At some
Situational,
point,
yeah.
the agents, there will be 1 or 2 flex agents that actually is going to be a flavor pick. For example, earlier on in the Valorant patches, it was a flavor pick between Omen and Brimstone. Sometimes it's also flavor pick
Yes,
between
yes.
between Sentinels, and when more agents come in, it just starts to become who prefers what, or what kind of style do they want to play.
Almost like playstyle, huh? But I mean, I love military stuff, so Kato's kind of like my guy. I love him. Only thing is, whenever he jumps, he makes that little squeaky sound, which is so weird. But anyway, it's gonna be Renatus White pushing into our B already. Toxic screen goes up, and the wall should come up as well. There we go. Chloe gets a spike planted, and Envious eyeing down the boxes. She's looking for a headshot, but it gets denied. Toxic screen plus poison orb. Magnifique have no vision.
Yeah, it's 5v5 retake again. We kept talking about this yesterday. It's not the easiest thing to do, but the post plant position isn't very good for Renatus White. The defuse might just get snuck in. And
Wow.
we've seen this from Renatus White. They did this as well yesterday with the wall, and I believe, sorry, Galaxy Razor against Renatus White. The exact same thing. If your post plant is too one-sided, the wall and the pistol round is just gonna stop you from killing the diffuser, and they snuck that out of Renatus White's noses.
That's the strength of having a Sage on this map, but, you know, talking about it happening yesterday, you would think that Renatus White should have figured that out by now, but very unfortunate. They got the frags, but they did not get the win. Magnifique, now with this economy boost, they're going to go on full Spectres. And look at their positioning. I mean, we already have Alyssa pushing out in towards B Garage. This is information plenty for them. Magnifique are just prepping for this A push.
Yeah, they really have to be careful of that. They don't want to keep getting the spike defuse get snuck under their noses every single time on B. And if they had a better post plan, if they just got a little bit more space, all the way to Snowman maybe, or at least Kitchen, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, regardless of whatever it is, it's
What?
still... Look at all this. It's the firing squad. You rush in. Spectres are just going to spray you down. And Cherry KX will be the one to get the last kill. 2-0. This is a very standard start, but looking at the scoreboard, I mean, not that many kills coming in from Renatus White. This is not what I want to see from them. I want to believe, but they should have done just a little bit more damage. At the very least, maybe get the spike planted so you have that economical boost. They didn't get it. Magnifique still on a roll. This time they have the full buy, and they really need to make this count.
Yeah, they have to make this gun run count. And the first 2 rounds went by in a flash, and now we've basically accelerated to round number 3. And with the Vandals, maybe they can actually get this round. It'll be Vandals against Light Buys.
Well, if that's the standard start we're expecting following this script, that should be it. But look at this positioning from Magnifique. They sense the walls, they sense the toxic screens, and Kohibi this time, like a turret, flicks up immediately, gets the shot, and now she's looking for even more. They're playing around the double cargo box, but they have to be very wary, because look at the positioning from Envious as well. She's on the yellow. What a nice angle. That's the second headshot of the day. And of course now it's just streaming in. What can you do, Canon Z? Apparently not much. And Renatus take away the bonus round.
We were talking about Kohibi earlier on in the opening panel, and this is basically what we've come to expect from Kohibi. The 4K on that B side hold, that's just absolutely amazing. And Renatus White, they're really stepping up. Those first 2 rounds, that's typically what happens, right? You lose the pistol round, the second round is just a wash, relatively. But they really showed up this round, and it looks like for Magnifique, they're gonna have full buy as well. So this is gonna be the first gun round between the two teams, and we're gonna see who has the better firepower. And what's great about Renatus White, since they got the spike plan on the first round, they actually have a pretty healthy economy here. They didn't lose anyone in the gun round as well.
Exactly. That's why they'll be able to buy back into this round. But of course, a slight technical timeout. Maybe some of the players are just sorting out some issues. But yeah, you did mention Kohibi coming online. This is her signature pick. She loves to go with Arena. The one thing that I have to say about this, though, is that it seems like they only perform a lot better once they have their comfort picks, like when they have Vandals to play with, when they have the Blade Storm on Envious. Other than that, it's a little bit scary watching them, because if I take a look at the statistics from yesterday's match against Galaxy Racer, on Icebox, Kohibi, performed admirably well. But as an entry fragger, she might have had the highest headshot percentage of her team, but she had 3 first bloods, which is good. But at the same time, 3 first deaths. Make of that what you will, but I would like to see a lot more from this team.
Yeah, they definitely. Well, it's gonna be either Kohibi or Envious going for the entries, right? But they really needed to be more aggressive yesterday on the attacking side, and we can see a little bit of that aggression today, though. They are starting on the attacking side right now, and their executes are pretty decisive. Even though the first 2 ones didn't really work out so well, it was still decisive, and that's what you want to see in players, right? Confidence, really making sure they're really feeling it.
Yeah, feeling it is one thing, but I certainly hope that after yesterday's match, they went back to the drawing board, discussed, maybe analyzed the VOD a little bit before today, because picking the same map again, and this is their map pick after all, they have to make it count. Magnifique, we might not have seen too much of them, and they did lose really quickly to Alter Ego Celeste, but they're not to be underestimated at all. There's a reason why they're here in the playoffs, and it's because, again, they beat Oasis Gaming Aqua, and that's, I think, if I recall correctly, the second team on top of the leaderboards. So it's not.
Sorry, no, they're 8th on the leaderboard, but they were second place in Open 4.
I see. Right. Yes, they went second place against Alter Ego Celeste, which is fairly big in its own right. But yeah, Magnifique, you have to be careful. You don't want to underestimate them at all. Another thing to note, though, is that Renatus White, yesterday in their match against Icebox, a lot of the plays were made off of, it was Mochi on Viper. Mochi's toxic screen. Sometimes it would be around B, cutting the site in half, blocking off places like Snowman. And she often deployed it from the green cargo box. Sometimes it would be around A just to block off screens, a little bit of rafters if possible. But other than that, you don't see too many different variations. And they tend to play around the toxic screen a lot more, as opposed to, full-on site executes with every single one dumping utility on site itself. This time, it's going to be a little bit more of a default, as we have a 2-1-2 from Renatus. But they're playing it safe. You don't want to hold on to your rifles.
Yeah, I definitely want to hold on to those, and there are rifles on Magnifique as well, so it's not. They really have to be careful this time around, because this is a pivotal round that would carry the momentum to the next round. And Envious opens up with a headshot onto Tokibi. There is one more on the side, though. Alyssa completes the trade there. It's going to be 1-for-1, but Kohibi is going to take Sherik X down.
Well, ooh, that's the Phantom Spray through the toxic screen. Very, very unfortunate. You hate to see it, but the wall finally goes up, and Chloe, just by the edge of the Nanostorm, will get the spike down for her team. Very nice, but they have to hold it here. This is what counts. It's a 2v3, and Magnifique are pushing into this. A little bit of a snake bite will force them back just by a bit, but Alyssa, right around the edge of it, will be able to take Mochi down. Chloe in the dark cover. They don't expect this. She shoots the diffuser down, but Alyssa flicks into her, and getting the triple will be able to get the defuse as well. Magnifique with a 3-1 now, and you're starting to see Renatus lag behind a bit again.
And it's that B side. It's so tricky to really just get the spike down and not establish your post plan. So in both rounds that they lost on the B side, they go for a plan and all the defenders are flushed on one side. It just makes it so difficult to retake the retake, so to speak. Because you back up all the way to yellow and the cover is really far away from the
Yeah.
spike. And then you back all the way to main as well, and there's just no line of sight, and there's only one way where you can actually take a look at the spike. So for the defenders who are going for the retake, it's very easy because they just have to watch one side.
Yes, I know what you mean perfectly. I mean, it's kind of like double peaks from Magnifique just because they're forced into that one spot. And then Renatus, once they have that positioning down, it's a little bit obvious to know where they are exactly. But regardless, here we go. It's round number 5, and they're executing onto A. You're seeing the toxic screen that I talked about come up, but Envious needs to get into position to cut them off and rotate. Otherwise, this is going to be very disastrous. You already see Canon Z picking the first one. Alyssa with the Blaze Storm activated finds the second, and now it's a 3v4. Hunter's Fury being activated as well. It stops the plant, but only for 1 second. Recon Bolt goes in, gets information. They shoot it down immediately, but she's coming in around from rafters. Renatus, they're not reacting to this properly. Kohaibi, she gets spotted out as well around the maze. She peeks into it, wants to take Tokibi down. It's a 1v1, but she doesn't get the lean. Oh my god, Magnifique, they're coming into this game really strong, and this is a 4-1 start for them.
And that really breaks the bank for Renatus White. They had enough for this buy, but they just couldn't make it work against Magnifique. And they did make it expensive for Magnifique, but since they won 2 rounds in a row, they can have a little bit of economy going on there, and they still should be able to afford a full buy.
Oh man, I think that was you talk about breaking the bank. We might have seen a Guardian. I believe it was Chloe in the past round as well for Renatus. It's really unfortunate. The executes are nice. They're able to get the spike planted, but when it comes to post plant, when they get stuck, when wrenches get thrown into their plans by Magnifique, I mean, talk about Hunter's Fury, talk about Canon Z finding the first frag, stuff like that really gets them. They start to feel the pressure, and then they just seem to be a bit lost. You know, playing around the side, playing around maze. They're looking for the frags, but they just can't quite get it.
Do you think they're having trouble playing too fast? Because I think that they're not getting the picks yet, and they kind of force the plant down.
Exactly, and that just might be it. But look at this. It's the same exact execute. Wall goes up. They get the plant in. This time around, it makes sense just because, you know, they are going in with a bit of an eco or a force buy. Chloe with the stinger is able to find a double.
Yeah,
but,
that was one clip. She got 2.
Which is good enough. I would say that.
It's typically the spray just isn't that good that you can't really make a transfer, but she completed a transfer and made it a bit expensive for Magnifique. They got a spike down. That's all they really wanted for that round.
I mean, talking about these 2 players, right? Chloe and Kohaibi. Guess who actually top fragged in Icebox yesterday?
It was Chloe, I remember. It was
Yes.
Sage Supremacy.
Sage Supremacy, that's right. Both stages on both teams were top fragging and MVPs, but yeah, it really shows that, you know, even as a Sage, Chloe, the battle Sage, if you want to call her that, she is really good, and finding those 2 frags just really hurt Magnifique's economy, but because they've won so many rounds in a row, they'll be able to buy back so easily. Another execute, though, it's going to be pushing into it from mid. Envious just getting the spike down, but she gets killed. Oh no! What just happened? This seemed like such an all-in play from Renatus, but instantly Magnifique react appropriately to this. Here we go, though. It's clutch for Daddy in a 1v4, but she doesn't quite find the shot. Elisa just shuts her down, and this is going to be a 6-1 start for Magnifique.
That was... We were talking about them playing too fast, and that was even faster than fast. That was... We've seen that before, right? The mid entry into the B side, Jet just dashes in, gets the spike down, confuses the attackers, but there was no one on the B main. The one in the B main push got punished by Alyssa. I think that's the biggest problem there. Alyssa was left alive on yellow, and they basically collapsed onto Envious, who was on the side. Didn't even complete the spike plant.
I agree. This is the thing. Like, it's a nice strat, and pulled off correctly at the right time can confuse your opponents, but at this junction, it's a one. You're at a 1-5, and then you pull off a strat like that. It's very risky. If it doesn't work, you're put behind the back foot even further. It's 1-6 now, and their economy is just not looking good at all. They couldn't even get that nice economical boost or anything else. I believe it was a kind of a buy for Renatus in that previous round as well.
Yep,
So
it was a full buy for me.
exactly, they need to be a lot more cautious. Think twice before pulling off strats like that, because I don't think it's the right time to do something as risky as just dashing in updraft from mid. Your opponents can hear all those audio cues. They get so much information, and Elisa was just at the right place, right time to stop that spike plant from coming in.
Yeah, I think they need a bit more. It just seems like they've been playing executes for every single round, and it's an all in, and then their post plans don't really aren't really ready. They're not ready. They play too fast, and their post plans aren't really there to be set up yet, and it makes it a difficult 5v5. Look, the 5v5 is harder for the defenders if you can set up
True.
the post plan quickly on the attacking side, right? And that's a big if here. That's where they're actually having a difficult time, because Magnifique, they're quick to rotate.
Exactly. That's the big if. That's the winning condition. You might be able to get spiked down, but your post-plant positions need to be just as quick. And watching what Renatus have been doing, ooh, K for Deity. Hate to see that NA arrow, but it's okay. They have to play around this, though. They cannot just stream into sight as carelessly as they've done before. I hate to say that, but it doesn't look too good right now. And Envious is already on site. The lockdown has been deployed. They're still adamant on going in, though. 5 seconds remaining before the lockdown goes into full effect, and Tokibi is in a prime position to stop any pushes as well. They want to get it down, but they just can't quite get it. Spike isn't even planted, and Envious getting detained all the way around the back. They just know where she is. They hunt her down.
Mochi had to cancel the plan.
Going in with the wits. This is so. I don't know how to describe.
It's a bit bizarre, right? They keep just trying to get into the site and get the plant down. It seemed like Mochi X almost had the plant down, but the Nano Swarm kind of came out. But they were on a suicide mission anyway. They knew they were all going to get detained. I think she should have just tried to tank the Nano Swarm and go for the plant there. But for Renatus White, I think they should really slow down a little bit. Go for the picks. Go for a little bit of a slower execute.
Exactly. Just rushing in to get the spike planted doesn't work. Why are you doing that again and again? But anyway, Magnifique now, they get this information. They know it's a B execute. And look at the rotates on the map. They're already underway. Toxic screen goes up. This is the exact same execute that we saw in the very first round of the game. But this time, Envious pushing deep in towards it. Kohibi getting the first frag as well. Hunter's Fury trying to stop it, but it doesn't quite find anyone. So now they have the post-plant positions. Will it be different this time?
Still relatively one-sided, but one difference I see is this one. Mochi X actually going for mid. This is important because this means that they have to watch two sides right now. They can't just go for the sneaky defuse anymore. Sage is also not up for them.
So it's nice little adaptation. They still lose the duels up around yellow, but guess what? K4Daddy is online around here. She will find the first one. Buys enough time. I don't think Tokibi can defuse anymore, so she's just going on a hunting mission. She's looking for it, but K4Daddy with the final headshot takes the second win for her team. Very nice adaptation coming from mid, like you said, Marquis, but can they continue to do this, though? Because if they don't, it might even be an 8-4. A 5-7 would be good at the end of the first half, but other than that, I don't feel as comfortable, even on defense.
Yeah, the 5-7 would be the best case, of course. They win out basically the next 3 rounds. But on the side of Magnifique, they have money to buy for this round and the next round, and possibly even another buy in 3 rounds from now. So it's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle. Renatus, at first it was B, now it's back towards A, but what I like to see, and what they are doing right now, is taking it a little bit slowly. They're not just rushing in. In fact, they're trying to clear out the angles, the corners, but look at how Magnifique are positioned this time. I mean, it's Alyssa pushing out a B garage. She gets the information. We saw this earlier on as well. then the rest of the team are just ready around backwards positions on the A side itself. It's only a matter of time before they start collapsing in, and if Magnifique actually stop the plant, this will be huge for them. But this time they don't. It's 2 frags early on for RTS, but Elisa still coming in from the back, though. I'm very scared about this.
Yeah, the Viper's Pit has been committed though, so it might be difficult for her to find anyone until she goes in.
Okay, she gets the information. That's good enough. Now the rest of the team just need to play around this Viper's Pit. Kohibi falls to, but ooh, Elisa with the kill. What? Nice bursting, and it's all up to Mochi and Chloe. They're hiding around the backside underneath rafters. Tokibi drops. They get this information right now. It's so crucial that Mochi finds a frag. She does get it, and now Elisa with a triple tries to go in and find Mochi. Doesn't quite know where she is though because of this Viper's Pit. It comes into full effect. The decay, the shot, and the triple for Mochi. She gets the 3rd win for her team.
That's just really frustrating to play against. But you could see that Kfredite, that 1v2 clutch that she won in the previous round, those were her first 2 kills on the board. So she really needs to get going here. Kohibi and Chloe are definitely starting to feel it, but Kfredite needs to step up a little bit. Right now, Magnifique, they're still at a 7-3, pretty comfortable lead for them.
That's the thing. So seeing a lot of Icebox, I'm quite happy. I'm quite excited because it is one of those play quite often. This time we're seeing it every game right now. Nice little right-clicked ADS kill from Envious. She's continuing to go off of this aggression though, creating a lot of space, but her team needs to follow up. They're worried about Snowpower right now, and they have no idea that Cannon Z is here, but she turns away and allows for Mochi to pick up 2 quick kills. Alyssa and Sherry KX now hiding in, one from hut, the other from the top of kitchen. Elisa goes in, passes halls, finds the other onto Mochi, still in a 1v4 though.
She peeks out into a firing squad and she's like, yeah, I'm out.
Can't do it. Nope. I'm just going to hold on to this. I also have my Blade Storm. I could drop for my teammates. It's good. Maybe just a couple of extra frags. But yeah, like I was saying, Icebox is nice, but I think Kfredite performed a lot better on maps like Ascent. And those are maps where you would see a Sova doing so much better because of the way the map is laid out. It's a lot more open. Your recon will actually be able to get so much more information as compared to something like Icebox, unless you have the perfect lineups. Hello, Elisa. What?
That's the exit frags, but she switches out to her knife, unfortunately, so Envious gets a kill, but she makes it expensive for Renatus at least.
Yeah, that was quite expensive, but regardless, this is last round, first half. I think Renatus having those 2 wins in a row, they should be able to buy back. Question is, do Magnifique have enough this round? Alyssa doesn't, so she's going to go with her Blade Storm. The rest of the squad, a couple of Phantoms, some Vandals. Cannon Z, though, she's going to get the drop from her teammates. So this is not the worst thing in the world, but they really need to make it count. It's either going to be an 8-4 or a 7-5. Let's see what Renatus has in store for us.
And there's the Blade Storm buy for Alyssa. Well, let's see if she can make that work. There's also 3 ultimates left up on Renatus White. They sell the Res and the Hunter's Fury as well.
Which would be good. I would like to see them again playing it a little bit more slowly.
Wait.
Envious already, I think.
That's Deline with from the shadows. She got a kill
spawn.
all the way from spawn.
Now she gets dealt with though. And all these over rotations onto the A site, the rest comes in as well. It's going to be a 5v4 situation. They should be able to reach B before Magnifique does, but look at their positioning all the way from halls, all the way from kitchen. They should have line of sight into this as well. So it comes down to Chloe and her walls and Mochi's toxic screen, which already has been deployed on A. So all comes down to the wall now. Envy is actually drafting, missing her shots. She gets taken down. Kohibi finds one though, but Alyssa just dashing in, tries to pull off some magic, but gets swatted down. Cannon Z with a triple, gets traded, and then Sherry KX closes it out. It's 8-4 for Magnifique. They read the B rotates and they react on time. Online, they find the frags as well. What's gonna happen on the second half, Key?
I think that I haven't really seen Magnifique's attacking side too much, but Alyssa is on a tear right now, and if she keeps this up, then as White better be ready with their defense side.
Oh my gosh. Renatus really better.
She's actually really, really sharp. We saw those exit frags just now.
Oh yes.
You can tell she's actually amazingly sharp. So I think
True
if
quick
if
headshots.
Alyssa really keeps this up here, it's gonna be really scary for Renatus White.
Oh man. I think that Renatus's attacking side leaves much to be desired because we're seeing those executes, we're seeing aggression, but it's not coordinated, and that's the one thing that sets them apart from teams like Galaxy Racer. But here we go, onto his defense, and Kfredati with a sudden aggression is actually able to find two. Chloe supports her. That's the second double, and it's all up to Cherry KX. Coming on from the top of Nest, she's able to find a double as well. Doubles on top of doubles, and all of a sudden, two.
Yeah, I think this is still relatively doable for her.
She has to be careful, though. Does pick up the frenzy. Wants to get the spike planted, but look at the positioning from Renatus. They're hiding around the other side of screens. As soon as they hear this, they will know that it's the plant coming in.
Such a cheeky wall. It really cut down to a small corner to plant that spike. Oh.
Cheeky wall, but Kohibi has the cheekier aim, the cheekier crosshair placement. Look at how just goes in with a perfect peek. Crosshair perfectly around head height. One tap seals the deal. Even if you're a Sage, even if you've got your heals, even if you've got your walls, it doesn't matter if you're unable to pull off a good post-plant position. The thing about that wall is that it's nice. It cuts it off. Unless you're around rafters and you drop down, you won't be able to do much. But you also kind of lock yourself in that one position. Your enemies will know that you're around the spike. If you want to go back towards places like Pipes or Nest, you have to take that one path. And that's why Kohibi knows, all right, I just need to play around this.
She also didn't have the gun to really play Nest. She picked up a Frenzy instead of a Ghost, so unfortunately for her, that's not the best gun to play against. But Alyssa is going to open this round with a Sheriff kill. That's a straight up headshot. Kohibi, though, pushing through the smoke. Or trying to.
Oh my god. Don't rush it. She goes in, flicks, doesn't quite connect. Remainder shots, though. Did get the dink, but it's not enough. So now execute onto A. Kfredati scoped in, doesn't recognize that Alyssa has come up underneath. Did find one though, which is nice, but they have to worry about screens. And look at the map as well. Tokibi coming in from her back to support a team. It's all up to Chloe in this 1v2 as she finds Deline. Spike is already down though. Long range duels with the Spectre, runs out of ammo, and Elisa just coming around the top of rafters closes and seals the deal for Magnifique. It's a 1-1 right now, and this just confuses me because in terms of economy, I think Renatus won't this round. And then it's a 5-9.
They won't really have a good buy.
This could be a 5-10 key.
Yeah, that's going to be a full buy on the side of Magnifique. Actually, that was an upset. We're starting off with a Sheriff from Alyssa. Like I mentioned, Alyssa is going to be the one that's on the tear here, and that Sheriff is proving to be really deadly.
So this time, look at the map. 4-stack on A. They guessed wrong, and the peek from Boiler just immediately gets punished. You hate to see it. You want to support the home team, Renatus, but it's just not quite happening right now. So where's the support in the chat from the fans? It needs to be now, because the plant is coming in on towards B, and the four-man rotate, coming in from around mid. It seems a little bit all too obvious for Magnifique because they are fully aware of this. Deline watching down from Halls. She's going to spray down, but immediately gets traded.
Yeah, they need to send Renatus your energy because they have quite a few rounds to win back to turn this round. But Kohibi starting to make this 50 round work.
Well, they might be able to find a couple trades here, but it's all down to this post-plant because the positioning from Magnifique is just sublime. You got players positioned around green, you got players positioned around yellow, and it's just two split angles that Renatus will have a tough time dealing with, especially because they have frenzies and just upgraded pistols alone. I mean, it looks good taking down halls like that, but when you think about where Magnifique are positioned, the way that they weren't exposing themselves to fire to lines of sight just so easily, it's even tougher for Renatus, especially because the spike has been planted. So 5-10, now they come in with a full buy. They really, really need to make this one count.
Yeah, so Renatus White with the glass cannon operator here on Envious actually. Does not get the shot though. That makes it really expensive because Envious has already been taken down. The armor doesn't matter even because that was a straight up headshot from Alyssa taking that operator down. Kfredidi is here. Tokibi takes her down. Kohaibi is going to try to make the stand, but Chloe is going to be there to take 2 down. Tries to even things out, and now they're actually in the lead. Kohaibi with a snap onto the lean, and now it's down to Tokibi and Chloe and Kohaibi securing this surprising round from Renatus White.
That was all down to Kohaibi's aim and gunplay. That was beautiful. It's a 6-10. It's nice. You got headshots on top of headshots, but can you continue to do that, though? That's the question in my head right now, because it's a round differential of about 4. They might be able to buy back into this round. We're even seeing an Ares from Chloe, a Guardian in the hands of K. But here's the biggest thing. It's Envious with an operator. Will this be enough, Kia?
They can land their shots, yes, but Envious seems to be struggling this game. Not really landing her shots. Bottom of the board right now. And they're actually going to be, so she won't be able to get going here.
They're actually going to be. If they can actually read this right and Envious plays around mid, I want to say that that's still be good. The only reason, I'm just going to go on a limb, that Envious hasn't been performing as well is because on the attacking side, she was often the first one dashing in and also the first one getting picked off. But here we go. Elisa leading the charge with the Blade Storm already onto site. They're even using the dark covers so well, but Kfredidi shuts her down. Spike has gone down as well, though. So it's a 4v3 retake. The 3 being Renatus actually, which isn't the best thing in the world.
And Deline making those two kills really makes it difficult for Renatus White to take this back. And Deline with the 3rd kill on, okay, Tokibi gets the 4th kill. It's all down to Kfredidi. She might be clutch for Didi, but wow, okay. 1v4 is still a tall task, but Kfredidi is starting to wake up.
Starting to, but man, that was so unfortunate. Those 2 frags back to back look so good with the Guardian, but then at the very last second, Tokibi just kills her off with the Phantom Spray. That's right, full auto is better than semi-auto. But it's a nice. You're starting to see Renatus come into form. They need to do it faster though. 6-11 is not the best thing in the world. So nice little poison orb. It's kind of a one-way for Mochi, but look at your mini-map key. Magnifique are going into A and they've already found the first entry.
Yeah, and they are on an eco buy as well on Renatus White, so it's going to be pretty much secured match point for Magnifique here, unless Renatus have something to say about it. They're finding those headshots with the pistols, but there is the rest to secure the round, and they do want to secure match point here on the side of Magnifique.
Oh my god. They should be able to get it. This is just so good for Magnifique. I mean, I've always been saying so good and stuff, but it's really true because Magnifique are about 1 step every step of the way instead of ahead of Renatus. I mean, even on ecos, you're not seeing them rush in blindly. Even they're actually playing off their teammates' contact. I mean, it's one person goes in, teammate might be kind of, baiting a little, but it's really just for the sake of the refrags, the trades. They know that, okay, on ecos, we often see players like Kohaibi, even some of them on shorties around the 90-degree angles of maze on the A site. And if someone dies, the following teammate can actually come in to just trade it up really nicely. But here we go, start off the 19th round, and Envious be able to get the first frag onto Elisa.
Yeah, they're using Killjoy ultimate. Looks like it's bait though, because the spike is all the way up to B, and I think Renatus White are smelling this because they're actually making a fast 3-person rotate onto B already.
Will they be able to stop the plant from coming in though? Mochi gets information with her Vandal, tries to spray forward. Envious getting this one more frag is even better, but she She tries to updraft onto the double stacked boxes and gets shut down by Cherry KX. Canon Z off in the one side is able to find even more. Deline coming online as well now. It's all up 1v3 scenario. She finds one to start things off. Goes in for the double, doesn't quite connect it. She's dancing around this second two-story box, but it's all too difficult. This is 3 split lanes that she has to worry about, and Canon Z is in the perfect position to stop this. She doesn't expect it with the off angle, and Canon Z, with the triple kill in this round, just closes it out 13-6. This is very unfortunate for Renatus White.
I actually expected more from them, especially since Magnifique looked like they were a bit far away from Alter Ego Celeste. I actually thought Renatus White should be able to run them over, but Magnifique really showing up today really shows that they are a force to be reckoned with still.
Really, absolutely forced to be reckoned with. I mean, we talk about force, we look at how they approach sites, even on the attacking. It's not just sheer blind brute force, but it's calculated aggression. The way they go in as a team, as opposed to, you know, we saw on the attacking side from Renatus. I hate to say it, but what is all that with the Envious just dashing in, trying to get the spike down, decided clear? That's a very fundamental thing in tactical FPS.
It's a rush B, rush A strat right now. I'd like to have seen more middle pushes, or maybe even like a 4-1 split flank, but it seemed like they were quite intent on making the 5-person rushes, or they didn't even employ like a 3-2 push, or maybe just a punish for the orb, or a fake into punish the flank, because Alyssa kept flanking there. They could have punished her multiple times, but no one was even watching the flanks there. So Renatus White, they need to reevaluate, especially their attacking side.
They absolutely need to. But I don't want to count them out. We have seen incredible individual performances from the likes of Kohaibi, from Chloe, from Kphrodite. The way that they're able to flick back and forth. I mean, that shows that they have what it takes. They just need to come together as a team. So this is only Icebox. The next map, I'm not too sure, Key, because that's going to be Magnifique's map pick.
Yeah, and losing your map pick really hurts. And we've seen, especially since their Impaler days, Renatus White, they did really well in Icebox. I think, especially for the earlier opens, whenever we saw Icebox, it was because Impaler picked it. Icebox wasn't a popular map back then. It is way more popular now, funnily enough. And what's fallen out of popularity is Bind. And this is just interesting to really watch, and let's see Renatus White have it in them to steal the map away from Magnifique.
Next map is going to be Ascent, so it's not going to be an easy one, I want to say that, but I certainly hope, my heart's still burning strong for Renatus White. Hopefully they'll be able to come back and give us the first third map series on this English stream. So don't go away, guys. Put your theories about Ascent in the chat, because I'll be reading them. But here we go. We're going to go for a quick break. And then after that, it's Ascent. It's Renatus White versus Magnifique. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. This is the FSL Valorant number 5, or VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia, supported by Renatus. Well, of course. Also, shout out to sponsors real quick. It's Intel and Yahoo, but you just saw it. It was Icebox. It was, I believe, about 13-8, which was really unfortunate for Renatus White, but here, 13-6 actually. Oof, that's even worse. But next map is going to be Ascent. I don't know what to expect, but Renatus have played Ascent before, also against another Thai team, and that's Arakat Aresta, in which they actually won. So I have hopes for this one, Key.
Yeah, Ascent isn't actually their worst map. I would say that looking at the statistics, their worst map is actually Haven. So, I mean, this also includes their statistics back when Dodonut was in a team instead of Kohibi, so things may have changed since then, but Ascent, they don't do so bad in that map. So even if Magnifique, that's their map pick, I think that at least Renatus White will give them a bit of more of a challenge here. But, you know, I really expect Renatus White to take Icebox because that is their map.
That is their map. I mean, they've been picking it so, but you're starting to see them lag behind. The way that they've been playing, especially on the attacking side, it's so, I really don't want to rag on them, but lackluster, Key.
Yeah, it was really lackluster, and here we actually see the map pick graphic, so we can see who picked what map. Icebox was Renatus White's pick. Ascent is Magnifique's pick. Of course, the trend of choosing the defensive side is pretty much still here. Everyone's still choosing defense, although I'm starting to see more and more teams really work on their attacking side. So I'd like to see some teams actually choose attack one way or another. And Breeze actually being the third map. So this trio of maps seems to be the favorite trio now. Icebox, Ascent, Breeze. Maybe Bind. People like banning Bind and Split now. It's actually interesting. Or Haven sometimes.
I think it could be because episode 3, or towards the end of episode 2, a lot of talking about Bind being like, oh, it's just rotates, it's post plants, you got the teleporter, it's very annoying, and it's not a lot of gunplay. Of course, you know, tactical FPS, you want to land those headshots, you want to run in, you want to press W and basically play deathmatch a bit. That's why you see me playing DM that much, but regardless, that's not what this is. This is the 5v5 actual game mode, and you have to approach it tactically. It's not about just rushing in and finding those headshots, and that's what you get to play around with, especially on the attacking side. I mean, regardless of map, attack is the one that lets you experiment and throw things out there to fish for information, fish for picks, and then you go in with the push. It's a lot more, how do I say, interactive, engaging. You get to play around and move pieces on the map before you actually go kills. So being able to do that gives you quite a bit of freedom. The only thing is, watching how Renatus have been approaching attack, it's not the best thing in the world. But Ascent, this was their map. This was the map that K4 became Clutch for and hopefully we'll get to see that again this time.
Yeah, I hope we actually see Renatus White give Magnifique a run for the money, but at the same time, I'm excited to see Magnifique start to grow to a team that can possibly rise to the level of Kid My Orc as well. So Kid My Orc definitely making A Celeste sweat a little bit, and Magnifique didn't really do that in their first series in this playoffs, but they looked really good today.
It looks a lot better, but then again, Renatus, I keep saying this.
Yeah, attacking side, right?
Attacking side.
Yeah.
Exactly, Keith. We're still thinking. But okay. Enough about that. Enough. This is going to be Ascent. I don't know. Magnifique, we haven't really seen them do this that much because they did get speed run by Alter Ego Celeste. This time around, different team. They might be able to play a little bit better. In the past, or at least from day one, playoffs against Alter Ego Celeste, what they did was a lot of aggression up towards mid. And I said it was kind of because they were a little bit tilted. Aneri, Iceberg, they just kept sending out that boom bot. They kept sending out those shock darts to gain control over B main, even though they were on defense, which is such a strange thing to do. Very aggressive, and I think Magnifique was a little bit upset about that, so they kept going in for those fights. This time around, against a team like Renatus, I don't think Renatus pushes that much on defense. In fact, they might be able to play a lot more around the back of the site instead. Especially after losing the first map, they might not be feeling those hot hands. They might not be that confident. So Magnifique, if they are starting an attack, and I think they are, they might actually get to throw a lot of curveballs, question marks at Renatus, and it's up to Renatus to actually respond to that. And if they can do that on time, fast enough, promptly, it would be good. But again, we have to see.
Yeah, I'd actually like to see KO on Ascent, especially on the defending side. It's actually really where KO shines, especially on Ascent. The reason why is because the suppression blade really tells you if someone's pushing an A. Because typically when someone tries to push an A, they kind of gather in the well in the lobby. A lot of them there. So once you throw the suppression blade, it really gives you a lot of information. So maybe you'll see KO for one of these teams. I hope so.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. KO is very fun. And she played KO perfectly on this map. But this isn't Alter Ego Celeste. This is Renatus White. This is Magnifique. And just to confirm it, yes, Magnifique are starting on the attacking side. I think these teams favor Sova a little more than KO. So I'm not too sure, but we can be confident that K4 probably will be going with the Sova. Which then again, on Ascent, it's one of those agents quite effective. Got the shock darts. The recons will be able to do so much in terms of getting information. What I'm curious about, though, is the controller. Because so far, Renatus, they've gone with a little bit of Omen, with a little bit of Viper, especially on Icebox, almost always. On Haven, they went Astra. What do you think they'll go with on Ascent?
It's a flavor pick as well for me. Omen Astra, I think, is still a flavor pick. I like Astra because she really gives a little bit more. The stars you have kind of have to respect. So the thing about Omen is the smoke. It's a bit slow, but when it comes up, you don't really expect when it comes. For Astra, the stars are a bit more telegraphed, but when the stars pop is the one that keeps teams guessing, right? So, using those stars properly, proper Astra would actually make it very difficult for teams to actually take site, because even remotely you could just drop a star and then put out some stuns to clear corners, etc. So something that Omen can only do with one skill, Paranoia. So I think that Astra, it really depends. It's a flavor pick. I'd like to see teams employ the double initiator lineup a bit more. I think it was between Illustrato and I where we keep saying double initiator might be the next big thing, and we saw A Celeste actually employ that with Sova plus KO. I don't think I actually think Sova is in a league of his own in terms of initiators and information gathering. He's irreplaceable. Meanwhile, the second initiator is kind of like a shuffle between anyone who can flash. So between Breach, Sky, and KO. Of course, Breach falling out of favor a lot now. So it's just between Sky and KO now.
Totally agree. I think it's, you said it, dual initiator. That's something that I want to see. A lot of these teams, well, at least most of them, some are a little bit more innovative than others. They prefer to try new things. We saw the double initiator from A Celeste. Maybe some other teams as well. I mean, Galaxy Racer are trying new interesting things. They've improved a lot since the last month's open. But I think Renatus White, as well as Magnifique, we see a lot more standard, right? The double duelist, one controller, one initiator, maybe one sentinel. I think coming into episode 3, you might actually start to see duelists phase out. Maybe one duelist instead of two, and then you have two initiators, because information actually gives you so much. And if your initiator can double up as a duelist, that's just so much better, right?
Yeah,
In fact,
I mean, KO's flash just makes it really easy to. His flash isn't that big of a delay. Like, for example, the reason why Breach is falling out of favor is because you can't use that flash to peek for yourself. Not all the time. Sky's flash you could throw and peek with. KO's flash you could throw and peek with as well. So that really makes the difference between a duelist and an initiator a lot smaller. Like, what is the value of Phoenix compared to a KO now?
Exactly. I mean, if you really want to go that route, maybe Phoenix can heal himself up. That's about it. His Blaze Wall can kind of be used as a smoke in a way.
Sort of, yeah.
But, against KO, you got your fragment, basically kind of like a nanoswarm or a grenade, which is pretty good. It can cut off rotates. But on top of that, your ultimates, they're roughly the same. I mean, compared to Phoenix's ult, run it back. You get your second life. The only difference being, one puts you in a position where you deployed it. The other one gets you down but not out. So close, but small differences. That's only for a duelist plus initiator. The other thing that I want to talk about is double controller. I mean, we kind of played a key. Astra plus Viper on Bind was really, really fun to do. But coming into maps like Ascent, I actually think that Sentinels, unless you're going with Killjoy, your lockdown can be very useful. But instead of a duelist, double controller actually might be good, because Omen is very strong, but on his own this time around, on a big map like Ascent, it takes a while for your dark cover, your smoke, to actually travel across the map. If you have a second controller, like an Astra, like a Brimstone, like a Viper, to supplement that, it could be effective. But that's just theory crafting. Right now, we're seeing the teams go for their picks. It's a very familiar one on the side of Renatus White. Meanwhile, Magnifique, they're going with Brimstone as their controller.
Yeah, the Brim rarely seen, but we've seen. I believe yesterday was KMO that also ran the Brimstone on Ascent. They like to use the Molly onto a lobby to stop the attackers, or to at least buy time. And there's the Astra, Mochi X on the Astra. I think Envious will probably go with the Jet. So single initiator, still a relatively standard lineup for Renatus White. Raze on Kohibi. Don't really see that very often. She's on the Reyna for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. But you're absolutely right. Yesterday was Fluffy playing the Brimstone. So maybe it's a country regional thing. The Thai teams favoring Brimstone a little bit, or not. But here we go. It is going to be, like we said earlier, Ascent map number 2. Interesting picks overall, but of course, very familiar on the side of Renatus White. They're still going with Mochi as the dedicated controller. She's on the Astra, so it all comes down to the star placements and whether or not Magnifique are actually able to work around that. So round number 1, depending on your buys, you either get 2 stars or 1 if you're just going for that full, classic plus some other, light shields plus some other weapon. But I believe she's going to be playing around the back a lot. Most of the time, Mochi, that is kind of at the bottom of the scoreboard, but that's because she's providing support to her teammates. This time around, Stars up towards A main. This is going to be early aggression from Renatus.
Yeah, they're pushing out a bit on A, but unfortunately no one is actually on A, so this aggression might get them a little bit of information, but they're not making the fast rotates yet. Oh gosh, that shock dart.
Have to be careful, but it only tags Elisa, so not the thing in the world. They're still adamant on pushing past this, though, regardless of the Astra Nebula void. So some in towards Boathouse, the others, K-Deity, has to be dealt with, but it's a little bit too late. It's all up to Elisa, only with 10 HP, tries to fall back into B main, but a stray bullet will catch her, and that's going to be Renatus taking the first pistol. Not too bad, actually. In fact, it's quite good. This seems like the map that K-Deity feels the most comfortable on.
It looked like that was what Renatus was doing in the previous map, actually, just running into the site and then getting picked off everywhere. That's what happened to Magnifique just now. They got super punished there.
So if you're on the side of Magnifique, I think you want to think twice about pushing into B main. But we still see the spike around that one spot, especially mid link right now. Sky Smoke up towards middle. Meanwhile, the rest of the team on Renatus, it's the same setup. Some aggression in towards B main, some already pushed out of A main. It's just a matter of time before they get even more information, whether or not they actually survive the initial contact. Magnifique, though, pushing deep into mid. This is interesting.
Yeah, they're playing really slow. They're just keeping Renatus White guessing. I think you also want to not make the enemy team comfortable with one tempo. So their team is slow now because they rushed that first round, and this second round they're just keeping them guessing, and it really gives you a little bit more room to play with, especially when you get your buy round. They do get one kill, Envious, with the ghost there, and Deline 150 HP, but can't really do much with the classic.
Not too much at all, and she's basically stuck here on the other side of they know where she is. They hunt her down. You hear the Ares firing away and expending that ammunition. So 2-0 for Renatus White right now. It's a nice change in pace, but maybe not one that's suitable for the pistol, because taking a look at the minimap, you see Renatus constantly pushing out of A and B main, and that just gives them information. At some point, it registered in their heads that, okay, they're definitely going to be around B. Let's just close in on them. I mean, some come the side of Fountain around mid, the others coming in from spawn as well. There was no way that they flicked 180 to find those, especially when they had pistols. But here we go, first buy round. Magnifique going in with the Bulldog as well. They have to make this one count, and in fact, they're playing slowly. Just a little bit slowly still. They get information around Garden though, and Rue will be the first one to get contacted.
Wow, they're just getting executed left and right here. Those rifles are really doing a lot of work. Mochi X surprising in Alyssa there, but it's gonna be 4 of them surviving, and for Magnifique, this is gonna be a great gun round.
Just good enough. In fact, they don't lose better. But you see it. It's Renatus White. You know, even when they have yeah, let's be fair, it is after, but in terms of strategy, in terms of positioning, it's not that much of a despite Magnifique being on the full buys. You have to play around closer angles if you're on some machine guns, but regardless, they're still going with the aggression in towards A main. Instantly shuts down the turret, and that confirms the positioning for Magnifique. Kohibi wants to challenge this though. It pushes them back. They destroy the Boombot, and right now, just a bit of a default for Magnifique. They're hoping that someone walks into their crosshairs.
And they're really playing this way differently from what Renatus White do. They're playing a little bit of a default, looking for some punishes. Renatus White though, they are playing up front and a little bit aggressively to get some information. So they do know that it's probably mid because they're looking at both A main and B main. They don't see anyone there right now.
Definitely mid, but the other question is A short. and that's where Deline is positioned. If she actually lurks there a lot and someone walks into her crosshairs, that would be devastating. But having Renatus fall back out of B main just gives Magnifique that extra breathing room. So here it goes, execute in towards B, but the Odin comes online from Kfredite. She finds the first one. Now they have to be cautious about pushing into this. Mochi deletes that lurker, and it's just frags on top of frags. The Odin might have been gone, but it's all up to Elisa in a 1v3.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult for her. That Odin really put in a lot of work there. It's just so difficult to take B backside with that Odin.
They did give her the spike plant though, but double peeking from stairs just makes it all that much difficult for Elisa to deal with. So Renatus in the lead now, 3-1. That's pretty good. Nice way to give Kohibi the showstopper. She's 1 point away from her ultimate right now. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. If they retrieve the Odin, yep, they do retrieve the Odin as well. So that just makes B, you know, a little bit more difficult for Magnifique to push past. If you were them, what would you be thinking, Key?
Yeah, that Kfredite definitely looks a lot more comfortable in this map. She's really doing a lot of work on that B side. I do love this. Whenever I play Sova, it's always on B side as well. The Odin makes the whole wall is easily penetrable, so getting a lot of damage done. Even when you fall down onto B side, controlling the Odin spray, because there's only really 2 openings, makes it very easy for Kfredite to do a lot of damage with that Odin.
Okay, I've been told that my mic has been cutting in and out, but hopefully this will be fixed. But either way, it's going to be a bit of A-short aggression. Kohibi is the one that stops it. Now Mochi looking to stop in towards B main. Kohibi supports with the showstopper. And that leaves the lean all the way from mid. Pizza, she actually flicks in towards the Odin. But Envious is there to support. This is the teamwork that we want to see from Renatus. If someone falls, there's an instant refrag. And of course, they pick up the Odin as well.
Yeah, the Odin is really working out for Kfredite. Kohibi is also really showing up those frags. The showstopper used there as well. They're just executing Magnifique. And Magnifique, they need to find a way to get the off source because they're just losing the aim duels as well. So it looks like they're having a difficult time on this tech side.
Well, it's definitely going to take a little bit more time though, because their economy isn't the best for Magnifique. We're seeing pistols, 1 Marshall in the form of Canon Z. And they're going with similar approaches. Again, it's this emphasis on towards mid. Deline just going in with a deep lurk. Sometimes it's A-short. This time it's around Pizza. It's a question of whether Renatus are aware of this or not. Kohibi certainly seems to be slightly wary of this. That's why she sent out the Boombot to check. And the fact that the Boombot gets shut down confirms the information as well. So right now, Elisa actually on her own takes out 1 player, and that's Kfredite. But the ones coming in from mid will not be able to do much work.
Another one.
Oh my god, Elisa. Spike down A short though. That gives it away.
That definitely gives it away. Alyssa with 11 HP left. She did make it expensive with those Sheriff headshots. But Renatus White are going to win this round. It's going to be 5-1, and they really do look a lot better on the defensive side than the attacking side.
At least for a set, for sure.
Yeah.
And Kohibi lighting up the scoreboard. Look at that, 10-2. If they can keep this up, we'll probably see a 3rd map key.
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't count Magnifique out. They are really sharp, and the first 2 rounds, of course, that's what meant to happen. And because they lose round number 4, that's why this is happening. They basically got their economy reset after their bye round win on round 3.
But here we go. This is going to be round number 7. Elisa, sudden change in pacing, catches Mochi off guard. They streamline it and make their way in towards the A site. Full execute considering the lockdown, attacking lockdown being deployed as well. So they get the spike planted, but will they actually be... No, spike doesn't get planted. It's a Hunter Sphere from Kfredite and denies it completely.
It denies the plan, and it's It's still a 4v3 retake. Kohabi makes it a 4v2 even. It's looking really good for Renatus White, and they clean it up.
Whoa! You talk about them being better on defense. This is so much better. Complete change in what we saw from the attacking side on Icebox. This is the Renatus that we want to see. And if they can keep this up, that would be even better. Keep in mind, this is lower bracket round 2. They are fighting for their tournament lives right now. And whoever loses this best of 3 actually gets eliminated. So a lot on the line. But Renatus just performing admirably right now. I mean, knowing that they have the ultimates, knowing that they have the utility, let them get the spike plant. I mean, let them come in. It's not a problem. Ooh, Envious just doing a lot better with the operator this time as well.
Great op shot there. Oh, wait. That's not supposed to happen.
Get out of my way.
I thought that Rue would have been able to support Envious, but being scoped in kind of puts you at that disadvantage like that. Ooh, a little bit annoying with the spray resets. But at the very least, it's information. They know that there are players around mid and mid link as well. Look at how K4 is positioned on B as well right now. They're playing it very safe, Renatus.
Yeah, it feels like Magnifique are just running out of options. They don't have the guns this round though, so that's okay. But even on the rounds where they actually have the full rifles, they're just struggling. They're just struggling to find the picks. They did get opening frags on A, but the post plant just wasn't there yet. It just looks like they're quite lost right now.
Well, lost or not, hopefully they find their way. They have found their way on towards the B site, but it will be a 4v2 retake. K4 this is where she became clutch for Didi. She's going in for more, has the Odin, but it gets smoked off.
Yeah, the suppressing fire from the Odin is actually really crazy. Even on that backside, she could actually just spray through.
Absolutely.
Look at that.
Spray. Do it. Kohabi just rushes in off of the suppressing fire. And yeah, 7-1. They're not stopping at all. The Odin is actually, I think this is the same Odin that has been carried forward from that very first time that we saw it.
Yeah, I think it's extremely high value Odin. I think we've seen that before as well yesterday with the operator also getting carried round to round. And this Odin is really working well for them. For Magnifique, they really need to step up because their economy, if they lose this round, they still won't have enough to buy again for the next round. The problem is they've been forcing. The full eco sometimes actually makes sense so that you have 2 full buys in a row. And there's that 1 kill, but there's a switch to the knife, but she switches back to the gun and takes down Mochi X. She wasn't punished for that. It was a bit of a bad habit showing there, but Rue is still on the side, is gonna take down the lead. Still has a Phantom, has to stand here, but Sherry actually gonna finish her off. Down to a 4v2, it's looking good for Magnifique now.
That's a good sudden aggression from Magnifique. They get the spike down right now, and it's all about the post plants once more. K4 with the Odin, it's going to slow down her movement speed, and she has to be cautious about how she approaches these fights. Kohabi only has 1 satchel. Lurks and allows for Cherry KX to walk into her own smoke, takes her out. It's a 2v3 all of a sudden, and a lot more possible. Paint Shell's refreshed as well. K4 drops down though, and talking about movement speed, they're actually able to tack her down to 7 HP as she drops from heaven, and then finally just finishing her off. It's 2-7, and just when you thought their economy would be in shambles again, Magnifique come back into this game. They'll be able to survive for 1 more round. We might see a 3-7 at this point.
They made it so expensive, but I also like to point out Tokibi was actually the Sova on Icebox, and Cannon was the Killjoy. I'm not sure why they're switching roles.
Maybe it's a map thing.
Map preference, yeah. Exactly.
Like, Chloe was the one who was playing Sage on Icebox as well, but when it comes to Ascent, they swap her out. Whoa,
no!
Okay, wait. Envious, that has to be a mispress. Oh gosh. Oof. Okay, they fall back. B main control handed over onto Magnifique, but thankfully, Nobody else dies.
I'm not sure if that was a mispress or a show of dominance because she got away from that. I don't know how she did, but Kfredaddy was there to at least support her. She was able to get out using that quick cloud burst to recover.
Thankfully. And that's the thing about playing this Jet. You have to be cautious about how you use your tailwinds, but she repositions herself up towards stairs, and that effectively locks out B main for Magnifique. No way they peek into this anymore. So only option is A right now, and they actually make A short count. Instantly rotate, you see Kohibi moving on the mini-map, but will she actually be able to stop this though? The blast pack plus the paint shells will be able to push Cherry KX off and separates her from the pack. Tokibi comes back to refrag though, and all of a sudden we're in this 1v2.
1v2 operator plus a vandal on Renatus White. That plan is going to be fake, but she has to commit it this time around. Does not actually see Kfredaddy coming in. Sneaking in from the back. Renatus White 8-2. Commanding lead from them on this defensive side.
Absolutely dominating. You love to see them perform this way. But at the same time, for Magnifique, it's just a little bit impenetrable. I mean, they kept trying to push in towards B, but initially it was the Odin that stopped them. Now it's the operator from Envious, and they keep trying to make the change to push in towards A. A short garden works out sometimes, but this time around it was Kohibi that stopped them. So it's a little bit of timing. The second time that they actually won was when they had the sudden aggression in towards from A main, and it was Elisa that led the charge. Her pre-aimed shots counted, but she has to be able to do that again and again. So this time we're back in towards deep mid, and that's around Pizza. They gain control over it, but look at where Kohibi's positioned.
Alyssa not getting those frags. The lean gets shot down. That pain shells isn't gonna kill her. Kohibi is really on fire this map.
Yeah, she has been popping off with the paint shells, especially just reading the pushes from Magnifique perfectly. And then now Mochi, being the bastion of the ace side, has support from Kohibi as well. So good, dude. It keeps getting refreshed. Elisa's the only one getting frags on her team, but it's not going to be enough. Sheriff goes out to check Heaven, gets punished from the left side, and that's Kfredaddy winning it for a team 9-2 now. We're in towards the last round before the swap. And Magnifique, you know, maybe attacking side of Ascent just isn't it for them.
Yeah, maybe not. And this is your map pick though, so you'd think that at least on your map pick you'd be more comfortable on even on the attacking side, because you know that Renatus is going to pick the defensive side.
Well, the defensive side is working out beautifully for them. But here we go. It's the stars again from Mochi. But they push past it regardless. Attacking lockdown goes in as well. And this was the play that gave them the second win. If they can do this again, that would be good. But look at the ultimates on the side of Renatus as well. Envious with her Blade Storm, Mochi with the Cosmic Divide. This could be very useful. I mean, think about it. Cosmic Divide in towards places like A main. You have players trying to play a close plant on the side of Magnifique. They would be denied. Oh, but
wait.
What?
Okay, Kohibi, they heard each other. They were running around like hearing each other. There's a Cosmic Divide being used as well. What?
Elisa!
This is one of those I'll do it myself moments, and you just 1v3 and like yeah, let's get that round. She's really popping off as well. 13 kills on Alyssa. The rest of the team, less than half of that. And on the side of Renatus White, Kohibi with 20 kills already is just absolutely crazy.
I mean, I was either pure gunplay and spray control or positioning. The way that she was positioned under Heaven. And I think Renatus just wanted to execute off of the Cosmic Divide, but mismanaged timing. They push out together, and Elisa was able to take every single one of them down. And that ultimately gave their team the third win. So swapping on to defense now, 3-9. It's not that good, but not the worst thing in the world. Renatus need to close this out, and they need this pistol round. So a little bit of control in towards B main. They get some information, but look at your mini-map key. Mochi's all the way at around top mid. They're trying to pull off a B split. I don't know if this is the best thing in the world.
I think it's okay. It's a way more dynamic offense
Mochi.
than they showed on Icebox, but okay. She takes Tokibi down really low though, so I think that was okay. She stopped the flank at least.
Did she use every single one of her stars, though? That's what it's in my mind. They cannot afford to go in B main anymore, but Aphrodite taking Tokibi down, that will be the entry, the ticket in towards the A site. She has to stop them on the rotates, though. She definitely hears the footsteps up towards heaven, finds the second one right now. Can she get the third?
Really opening things up for Renatus White. Oh, she's not gonna expect this.
No.
Aphrodite gonna taken down by Alyssa, who actually pushed all the way from B main. And now it's down to 2v2 retake.
About 35 seconds left on the spike. And they have a lot of time to work with here for Magnifique. They drop down from heaven. Kohibi gets the dinks. She gets the headshots. It's all up to Elisa. She knows where they're positioned, but 2v1, this is very difficult. Goes in, dances back and forth around the generator. Doesn't quite find the shot, so has to deal with the turret first. Tries to tap away, but just can't quite connect it. Kohibi crouching as well. She misses her shots, and Renatus pick up the pistol. Second pistol on this map. If they keep this up, I mean, they're going to be able to buy into this round. Magnifique, unless they force it, unless they deal with this purchase from Renatus somewhat, we're going to see an 11-3. And 11-3 potentially means a 12-3, maybe even more. This would be good for Renatus.
No prisoners.
Yeah, it's gonna be a buy round for them. Magnifique, they're gonna respect this and just gonna save up for the next round.
Okay, so no forces. Save up for the next round. We might see the standard 2-1 start that we saw earlier. But Renatus, very just miscalculated aggression. Envious going in on her own, gets caught out by 2 players. So it's a 4v5, and Magnifique have the numbers advantage. This is the problem with their attacking side. Often sending one player on their own, and it just doesn't work out. But they seem adamant, prepared to make this B side execute, and Elisa being the first one to contact them, unless her right clicks happen perfectly, it will be the B site that gets opened up. Cannon Z, though, does have a Spectre in her hands.
It's gonna be still a difficult retake for them. They only have pistols. Only Cannon Z has the Spectre here. Gonna pass it to Tokibi, who is healthier.
Okay. She also has 1 Nanoswarm plus an Alarm Bot. Sky Smoke plus Incendiaries. This could be possible, but it is a 3, maybe 2v4, considering that Cannon Z is really low regardless. Kohibi going in to check it. She finds the first one, sprays in, doesn't quite connect. Mochi will be able to supplement her. And of course, Aphrodite just closing things out with the final headshot. Renatus are at an 11-3. But here it is. Full buy for Magnifique. Will this be the moment where they stake their claims, where they make their comeback happen?
Actually, on the Icebox map, looked a lot more competitive. Even if it was Renatus' map pick that they lost, this is Magnifique's map pick, and Renatus White look a lot stronger on their map pick.
Really odd change of events, huh? But I think it certainly has to be said that, I don't like to put teams down, but Magnifique, with Ascent as their map pick, they haven't been performing on Ascent at all. But starting things off again, it's Envious. She bought up because she died in the previous round. She's going to get a Vandal, and she's going to find the first frag as well. They start to stream in towards the A site. The entries are coming in for Renatus, and Magnifique haven't responded to this yet.
This is dangerous. Magnifique don't have enough for a bye next round if they lose this. And it's going to be Renatus on the match point if they complete this round.
That's exactly what I was saying. They just don't quite have the momentum. And along with that, no confidence as well. Look at how they're playing around this. They're very, very cautious, afraid to peek even. They cannot expose themselves to lines of sight too easily. So playing around Heaven is the play, but they need to make it count. Mochi X coming in from the side of Generator gets shut down. It's all up to Kohibi as well as Envious. They find the first one. The one that's left is Canon Z. The showstopper comes in. It's a quadra for Kohibi, and she puts her team at match point.
That was a heads-up play. She saw her ult get ready there. She pops her ultimate. She knows that she has to launch a rocket even though she dies to get that kill on Canon Z and completes the clutch. Now it's match point for Renatus Gaming, and the hopes for any comeback is just really low.
Aware of everything that she has at her disposal, instantly pulls out the showstopper as soon as she gets it. And her KD as well. I mean, I haven't even touched on that yet. I think I saw 27 and 6.
Yeah.
That's higher than 3.0 KDA. I mean KDR.
That's
but
higher than 4.0 actually.
Ooh,
Almost
you're
5.
right, Keith. You're right. But still, last round, Magnifique not out yet. They still have Sheriffs, they still have Spectres, but oh, this lockdown just makes it all that much worse. They have a bit of utility though. They have the rotations coming in towards A as well. And Mochi gets some information, knows that there are 2 on mid. They have to make it quick. They're going in.
That quick rotates from Magnifique, but there's the Astra Stars really just making it difficult to get that much space.
And that's why the spike is already down. Deline as well as Tokibi coming out from Heaven. It's a 3-2 split, one from Heaven, the other side coming from Garden. And RTS are fully aware of this. It's just coming down to the sprays. They get 3, but Cherry KX and Tokibi coming down from Heaven. They're able to find a couple more trades, but Envious closes it out. 13-3. Renatus looking so much better on Ascent.
That was a great map for them. 13-3 is a good show of dominance, and I think Renatus White, they didn't let that first map shake them. Getting the map against Magnifique's own map pick is actually really good. And you know what I'm excited about? Map number 3. We're going to Breeze. Breeze.
We're going to Breeze. First time on the English stream, and the first time we're seeing a map 3, in fact. So I'm not quite sure what to expect because we haven't seen this map yet. But if I remember correctly, this is Renatus's map pick.
Yes.
So
yes, it is.
They should have something planned. They should.
Yeah, I mean they do like their long range engages, which is why they like Icebox. And if they can make Breeze work, hopefully not like they tried to make it work on Icebox. Breeze, I'm excited to see this one. I want to see what teams are actually going to employ, what strategies they're going to use for Breeze.
See, that's the thing. You talked about the long-range duels. That's why they liked Icebox. Yes, we see a lot of incredible frags, incredible kills from Kfredity, from Kohivi, from Envious. But the teamwork was the thing that lost them on Icebox.
Yep.
Breeze is a map that's very big, very open, but that just means that if you play around mid and you play around it correctly, especially around even areas like the long hallway, if you're able to control those and you're able to rotate effectively, that can stifle and stop pushes a lot better. So I really don't want to see Renatus just rush in blindly. They have to be very careful. Make your frags count. You know, make your long-range duels count, because if you have the aim, you should be the ones that lead in terms of kills. So they have to be careful. They have to be careful, Key.
Yeah, they definitely have to be careful, and it's just going to be an exciting matchup between the two teams. We've seen 13-3. It was, and Magnifique looked really good in Icebox, so we'll have to see what Breeze brings to us.
Well, that's going to be that after the break. So again, guys, we are supported by Intel and Yahoo. Huge thanks to our sponsors. But after this break, it's going to be Breeze. You see it in Marquis' background. You see how excited we are. So it's noontime. Go grab your lunch, grab a quick snack or drink. But then after that, Breeze, it's going to be Magnifique versus Renatus White. Don't go away.
Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 ba Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, up, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. Got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got down, up, back,
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank.
And welcome back, folks. This is going to be breeze. We're feeling the wind. We're feeling smelling the nice little seaside fragrances. But regardless, it's going to be Magnifique versus Renatus White on this map. It started off on Icebox with a 13-6, and then on a set with a 13-3. I mean, any thoughts as to why that is, Marquis?
Kohaibi went on a tear. I think to just put it very lightly, she absolutely made it work for Renatus White here. 28 kills. That was just a masterpiece from her. I think Kohibi definitely undisputed MVP of the map there. Everyone else also fragging. Aphrodite, she really felt comfortable in this map, especially over Icebox. And for Magnifique, they just couldn't get anything going.
Perfect description. I mean, you're seeing the stats: 4.3 KDA, 432 combat score, and almost a 30 bomb for the side of Kohibi. Meanwhile, Magnifique, they tried really hard, but I think their attacking side was just kind of lacking. It was very unfortunate, but it might also be because of Renatus's defenses. I mean, when you got players like Aphrodite with an Odin, it's very difficult for you to push past B main. Aside from that, though, interestingly enough, 25.3 headshot percentage for Magnifique. So maybe they're still alive in this tournament. I mean, this is the very third map. This is lower bracket round 2. Whoever loses this gets eliminated. So there's a lot on the line. But Magnifique with a 25.3 headshot percentage, I think they can still push this into, 20, 30 rounds on this map. But it all comes down to it. We have to see how it happens. Any thoughts as to how Breeze might play, Marquis?
For Breeze, it's really hard to say because it's really relatively new to the teams, not just in FSL, but generally Breeze isn't really that commonly picked yet. It's relatively new. It was only enabled, I believe, about a month ago. So Breeze will really have to see whether teams are ready for this because it's really a new map, and whether teams have prepared already. It just comes down to which team is more prepared, even on Breeze on a new map, right? Which team is more adaptable, or who can take the long range duels, or maybe people even have to execute, so long range duels aren't even necessary. We'll have to see who is readier for Breeze.
Who is readier? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But the thing is, taking a look at map selection again, this was the map that was selected by Renatus White. Icebox was also the map that was selected by Renatus White. So, do you think that means that Renatus are more ready on Breeze, or what was it gonna be, Key?
They better be, because if this was anything like the Icebox map, then they are going to not play this out really well. Magnifique, you can tell that they still have the aim, and on Breeze defense, if you have the aim, you can pick off attackers that are definitely not ready with their executes. They need the smokes, they need the initiation, they need to get into the sites. Both sides are really huge, a lot of angles to take care of, so they do need to make sure that their executes are there. The smokes should come in, maybe some flashes, maybe Sky plus Sova or KO plus Sova even on this map, just to make sure they're able to get into the site, or maybe some mid control. I'd like to really see what they have on their attacking side this time around. Their attacking side was really good on Ascent as well.
Exactly. It's actually pretty darn effective, especially for Renatus White. But that's just in terms of fragging and aim and plays as well. I'm very curious to see what their agent composition would be, because that largely influences the kind of utility that you get. And on a huge map like Breeze, you need to be able to control the site very effectively. I mean, A, even B, they're huge. You got the pyramids, you got the backside of arches, you got even the wall on B itself that can be quite annoying to deal with. If you don't have enough smokes to obscure vision, if you don't have, maybe even grenades just to, flush
out corners, right?
Exactly. You put the words right on my mouth again, Key. But yeah, it's gonna come down to that. I don't think duelists are enough. I don't want to see triple duelists on this map.
I want to see Yoru. I think we saw Anko on the Yoru. That was really interesting on Breeze. The flashes are really good. A good substitute instead of an extra initiator. I think Yoru can kind of fill that role. Let's see if the teams actually have planned for that, or maybe they have other things in mind. Who knows?
Okay. Well, we have a tiny sample size, so I'm just going to take a look at that real quick. On the other streams that we have for FSL, we have Kid My Orc versus Arakat Aresta in also a lower bracket round 2, I believe. And Kid My Orc actually already finished that game, so really fast. But the interesting thing is, the very first map that they played was Breeze, after all, and they defeated Arakat Aresta swiftly. This is a Thai team versus another Thai team, and 13-4 is no joke. So I'm just going to take a look at their agent composition real quick, and what I'm seeing is one Viper, one Sage, one Sova, and then two Duelists, and that's Reyna plus Jet. Something that actually we do see a little bit familiar from Renatus White as well.
Yeah.
What do you
NVS on
make
the
of that,
Jet
though?
and Kohai B on the Reyna. That just might be standard. Yoru is one of those agents that seems to be very map specific. Similar to how Viper was relatively more map specific earlier on. Like Viper, you didn't really see that often until recently that the other controllers were nerfed. That's why Viper starts to become a little bit more valuable because smokes are expensive. Viper smoke is, pretty much free. So it
Pretty
really
much.
it really put her up in the meta. Whereas Yoru still seems like it's only for bind for the most part and only for some teams. Not every team likes to run Yoru on bind either. So we'll have to
Yeah.
see if who's adventurous enough to actually run
You know-
Yoru on Breeze.
In fact, I don't think we've seen a single Euro pick for FSL Valorant. Not even from the
Once.
last month.
Anko on
once.
Breeze.
Anko.
Yes.
Right. And that's once out of how many games, Ski? This is a very, very unusual pick. Even for the other teams, other tournaments that we have, say in Southeast Asia, Paper Rex, sometimes Forsaken will go with Euro, but not that often. Tens will go with Euro, but that's only because he's Tens. I mean, come on, right? But it's a very difficult thing to pull off. It's very situational. It's all about positions because Yoru's flash, it's not that useful as an entry tool. You can team flash your teammates, and it's a little bit difficult to pull off. But again, coming out to Breeze, I agree with you because the fact that the map is so big, your Gatecrasher can be quite effective. You can teleport yourself into positions that your opponents will not expect. But then again, Omen is another agent that can teleport as well. That's why I like to see double controller. But again, it's all up to the teams and how they want to play it. I'm not quite sure what to expect. In our notes, we talked about Magnifique, or at least in their bio, what they told us from the interviews is that they like Sky, but we haven't seen a single Sky. Is this
Yeah.
a map where they actually bring out Sky? Do you think Sky is effective on Breeze?
I think Sky is actually really great on Breeze. The reason why is because she gets a lot of information with her flashes. So it's a flash plus info kind of skill. So between the initiators, Sova is focused solely on information gathering. There's a drone, there's the recon bolt, and some damage from the shock dart. For KO, the information is from the suppression blade, and the flash doesn't really give you confirmation. For Sky, the flashes are also the information gathering tool. Like it tells you if someone gets blinded or not.
That's very true. I mean, information, but you also have flashes for Sky. That's, I think, one of the biggest things that sets her apart from Sova. If you go with Sova, if you go with, Viper or even some other agents like Sage, Killjoy, I'm just going to say we want to see lineups because those will be very, very useful. Otherwise, you're going to be exposing yourself, playing very linearly instead just to deploy your utility. So we're going to go into draft right now. I'm very curious to see what the teams have in store for us. There we have, it's going to be Skies on both sides.
Yeah, Breeze also is a really huge map, and Sky really helps a lot with getting that information. I think better than Sova because you at least have two flashes. You can recharge the flash after a while as well. So, sending on that flash really early on,
Whoa.
and then using it later on will really be helpful.
Other thing in my mind, though, is the Sentinel. I mean, we talked about initiators. We talked about controllers. Sentinels on Breeze. I have tried Sage, but I don't really like her because your slow orb can be quite situational. Other than that, you're often the last one behind your team. It's very difficult for you to find entries unless you're that good at getting opening picks. If not, your wall
Choose
it's
your agent.
very, very situational. So Cherry KX on the Sage, that's a curious pick. But then again, teams have made it work before. It can be useful, especially if you're starting on the defense, which is what Magnifique is starting on. Meanwhile, on the other side, Renatus White, not a single sentinel in sight.
Double initiator.
That's the one. So attacking side, very important for Renatus. But let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Chloe is here playing the Sova this time around. Kefradite is on that Viper.
And that means that Rue was the one that was subbed out. Kefradite playing controller instead of initiator is a little bit interesting, but I mean, I believe that
She's done it before on Icebox.
Yeah, exactly. She has done it before. The only thing that really I really want to emphasize on for Renatus White is that they cannot afford to go in with the blind aggression that we saw in Icebox. If they're executing on the attacking side, it's not just about the spike plants. They cannot rush in. They need to play for picks. They need to play it carefully.
Yeah, they definitely need to make sure that at the very least they set up their post plans. I don't want blind aggression. Unbridled aggression is okay, but blind aggression is not. Like we've seen unbridled aggression from A Celeste. Like they just get their way, but they actually know when to pull back and be smart about it. I think Renatus White, they have to slow down a bit or try to change the tempo a little bit, because otherwise it gets really predictable like it did on Icebox.
So to start things off, Renatus White on the attack, looking at how they're positioned, it's going to be a little bit of emphasis up towards mid, and that's, I think, a very smart move. Most players have already opted to go for the ghosts, which is very smart as well, considering how Breeze is laid out. Like you said, very big, very open, a lot of long-range duels. But interestingly enough, look at Envious Key. I think you'll be a fan of this.
Yep, the Sheriff like you said, Breeze requires a little bit more of a special consideration, basically, on the guns that you use. The Guardian is actually really effective here. The Sheriff also,
Marshall.
especially if you're playing A. The Marshal is really good here, like you mentioned. This big map allows for these bigger guns to thrive.
There.
Well, at the very least, big guns, long-range duels, but Mochi is coming in from the side of Cave as opposed to mid doors, unlike her team. So they're looking to pull off a split. It actually works out quite nicely, but they did lose quite a bit of HP for Envious as well. So 4v4, maybe a 4v3 for Renatus. They need to get the spike down, but in all that time, it actually allows for Magnifique to push up. Elisa's already around metal doors, and it gives her a nice angle. She takes out another player with a headshot. It's all up to Mochi with 14 HP, swings around the left side, doesn't connect her shot, and Deline steals it away. First round goes to Magnifique.
It's a little bit too early to tell for me, but it looked exactly like what happened in Icebox, right? They got the plan, they got denied the post plan, and the retake was just super easy for Magnifique. And, you know, I think that for Magnifique, that's the cleanest round I've seen from them since Icebox, though. So I'm not just gonna dish it out on one team, but for both teams, Renatus White seemed to really not be able to get their post plant ready. And Magnifique, where was this in map number 2?
Map number 2 just wasn't their time. But one thing I do want to note is that because Tokibi is playing Sky, because she initially sent out that same exact guiding light that you're seeing right now in towards mid, it gave them the information. They kind of knew that it was going to be an A split, and that's what won them the round. They might have gotten the spike down for Renatus, but with a lack of response after getting the spike down, even right now, they're not able to take or deal with Deline. It's going to be so difficult. Mochi, again, last one left alive. She has to deal with 3 players. Sends a Hawk out, gets information, but the spike is all the way at the back.
Yeah, she has no information right now. She only has a frenzy as well. You can't.
No, what are you? Oh no.
Oh.
Goes in to retrieve the Sheriff, but
It's
they
too late
saw
for
it.
that.
Yep.
And the Sheriff
Again-
was a way better weapon for that duel than the frenzy.
Absolutely. I don't think, like, okay, around mid doors, around the little chute from halls, you can't take a clear shot at top mid, at mid nest, with a frenzy. It's just not good enough. She
Yep.
might have wanted to pick up the Sheriff, but it's a little bit too telegraphed. I think Magnifique saw it. So
Yeah, it was too open as well. Like there's no cover or anything. Didn't have a smoke.
round number 3 though, they have their full buys. They need to make this one count again. But look at the positioning from Magnifique. Look at the utility as well. Toxic Screen completely locks out the A site. They need to bide their time. They need to be careful about their approach. Nizel Guiding Light blinds Alyssa square in the face, and Canon Z, dealing with the Owl Drone, gets caught in the back. This should be Renatus' round.
Yeah, it is definitely the round to win Kohibi. We've seen this before. Is it gonna be a 4K again for her? Like this is exactly what happened to Icebox, and I feel like it's a remake in a different universe. But Kohibi on the buy round got a 4K on Icebox. Okay, Envious is gonna get the last kill, but it's gonna be an intel flawless round for Renatus Gaming, and we're seeing signs of life. Maybe they just needed the rifles to play those long ranges.
That's what we said about Icebox, though. It is almost similar to Icebox. I hope it actually works out, but this will be the one that dictates the flow for the rest of the game because Magnifique, they have their full buys as well. So, Renatus, make this round count. No blind aggression. Make it calculative. They have been changing things up, though. Look at their position this time around. Instead of A, it's up towards B. They're pushing out of elbow as well. Kfredite does get some information up around top nest, so they should be wary that the rotates are underway. The only thing is, can they actually play for picks? I hope they don't rush in, though.
Yeah, I hope they don't rush and hope they actually get their post plants down because the rotations are coming in fast for Magnifique, and it's going to be difficult for them to get into the site cleanly. As I say that, the lean takes on Envious, and they're not getting anything here. Sherry also kills Kohibi, so now it's down to a 5v3. It's looking really difficult for Renatus to get anything down here. The lean!
Enemy remaining.
What a shot!
Round B.
And this is looking to be flawless right now. Mochi, again, last one alive. They know where she is. She takes one, but Elisa just claws it right back. And Magnifique with a strong lead. Renatus, can they buy back in this round, Key?
No, I don't think they have the economy for this. And wait, they do actually. Okay, so they do have a little bit of economy saved up. I think it's because they didn't really buy on the second round. Okay, they do have the economy for this, so they can still make this work out.
So B didn't work. They got completely stopped outside of B main. Now they're going back towards A. But the poison orbs, the toxic screens are right in front of them. And this time they're dealing with rifles, not specters, not classics. Again, please, don't rush. You pull out the Seekers. She's looking to use them. She gets a lot of information at the very least, but one snakebite right in front of them does slow the push down. And that allows for Canon Z to peek around the left side. She finds one, gets traded by Mochi. Aphrodite, though, up around halls. She needs to make it quick. Kohibi's already gaining control over the site, finds the second frag, and falls back. Where is the spike? She picks it up. Cherry KX spotted her out. She goes in for the re-peek. Kfredite makes a little bit more noise and causes her to turn around back. They find the frags, and Renatus are coming back into the game. No, they didn't. I don't think they did.
They went for the nod. No spike plant. 300 creds.
Marquis, the economist.
She just stood there and nodded. Like, yeah, we got that round, but like, it's 300 creds.
It's a fair point. So for those who don't know, even after the round ends, if you actually get the spike planted, you still get the spike plant bonus, which is 300 credits, and 300 credits is enough for a little bit of utility. I mean, you think about it, it's enough for one Lear at the very least. So you should still be looking to get the spike planted, even if you win the round. But you know what? If you're feeling good, fine, go for your nods. I don't care. Now they're going in for the mid-aggression. They have full control over it. They find two frags. They're not too worried because they know it's Spectres for the side of Magnifique. The lean won't be able to connect her shots, but Cherry KX trying to go for the spring transfer. She finds a double, but instantly gets charaded. Mochi there to support her team. They come online. They get 3. It's a 3v3 right now. in terms of the scoreboard. Magnifique will be able to buy back though.
They're making it work this time around, the attacking side for Renatus. Why already 3 rounds in. I believe on Icebox they only got 3 rounds in the whole of the attacking side, right? I believe it went 3-9.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong, and they just look better. Okay, there was that one round where they got stuck in B main and they just got executed one by one there. It looked like a room of death at that point. There's also such a thing as being too slow. They didn't get any territory, and here's the Vipers for being committed. Ken and Z making sure that they discourage them from going to A.
Look at Halls. Look at Halls. Elisa, she gets information, immediately dashes away, and all this territory, in all this chaos, it allows Cherokee to push up. If they don't deal with her, this will be very disastrous. That's one. She instantly gets traded. That's good. Renatus has to make it quick. A quick move in towards the B site. The lean, though, up towards mid. This could set up a potential flank. Look at Elbow. Nice, though. The Seekers will be able to deal with this. And now it's a question of whether or not Magnifique can stop the plan. Oh!
They're trading left and right, but wow, Renatus White are just sharper right now.
Sharper indeed. The firefight goes in their favor, and that leaves Elisa alone. Can this lone survivor actually deal with 3 players? They get even more information. They know she's around arches. She only has 2 updrafts. Oh, Recon Vault. Just extra information at that point. Tries to find it, but won't be able to find a safe, secure enough duel. So she goes up, uses the wall, finds Kohibi, comes back around the sides. At this point, she only has about 15 more seconds before the spike goes off. Has her Blaze Storm, shouldn't use it though. Goes in for the spray. What? She finds a triple. Does
she gets it
for the defuse? No way. No way. Elisa, what are you?
Oh, back
Oh.
hurts.
With 0.17 seconds remaining, they just lined up for that. I think that was a big misplay from Renatus though. They had control over the spike. They double peeked there here into a straight line. She only had a few bullets left. They didn't need to double peek that. They just needed to hide and buy time. But instead, this double peek, if she were in Jet, she wouldn't be able to reach the spike in time. But she had the dash, make it just in time for the spike, and that's absolutely amazing play from Melissa.
Elisa, the Airbender, the Vandal Spray Master. That was incredible. And that certainly cost Renatus the round. Right now they get some information, but Canon Z is just looking to slow the push. Oh, that cannot feel good. 4-3.
I'm still reeling from that. That was not supposed to happen. That was supposed to be a clean round. 3v1. They had control over the spike. Alyssa was nowhere near that spike.
Tiny tactical mistakes. Oh my god, Tokibi shuts down the Blade Storm. And Envious is off the board. Tokibi finds a double right now as well. This slows down the A side execute by so much. And I'm not even counting Deline coming in from the back.
Is it going to be the ace?
Aphrodite pushing in from Halls though. Ace is certainly possible. It all comes down to K-Aphrodite. Coming in from the back halls, Kanon Z is looking at her, but Deline just catches her square in the face. She took a little bit too much time, and I think considering the possibilities, Magnifique just knew exactly where to place their crosshairs.
Yeah, exactly. And look at the scoreboard for Magnifique. Deline and Tokibi are ahead of Alyssa. Even with that clutch from Alyssa, the rest of Magnifique are also putting in the work here. And it's starting to look dicey for Renatus because they don't even have a buy for this round.
Oh my god. 3-5. No buy. Maybe 3-6.
Envious is forcing.
Oh no. I don't like this key.
Okay, there. She's sold
Okay,
it.
thank god. So, I might be a little bit biased. I am rooting for the home team. I'm just going to be upfront and honest about that. Renatus, I want to see them perform a lot better, but based off the plays that they're making, the tiny mistakes, the double peek when they had the spike planted, the push coming in and out of a cave, it's not what they should be doing, I think.
Definitely not what they should be doing, and it seems like they've fallen back into the trap of rushing to a site and no post plan, no proper post plan. I think they should really take it slow and start to look for these pickoffs again. It's what's worked out for them.
Mhm.
Especially if they can't get into the site anymore. It looks like Magnifique have something figured out, and that they can actually stop the pushes from Renatus already. Some pushes have worked, but whenever their entries get taken out, they just don't know what to do.
Exactly. The past 2 rounds have definitely shown that Magnifique are adapting to this. That's why you see the positioning from Canon Z when she's up around A cave, somewhere close around the mid doors position as well. She has her toxic screen. That's the first layer of the first line of defense. The poison orb just to obscure vision even further. But she always has her snake bites ready just to stop them from pushing out. And if they do have to push out, they're going to have to go around the left or right side. And that's where Tokibi plus Canon Z are positioned, around the pyramids. Very difficult to push out of unless you use your utility to flush them out of those positions, or you take those duels and you find the picks. So far, Renatus, aside from the first starting rounds, they haven't been able to pull out the same A executes. And then if they try to go towards B, which is what they're pinging for right now, they have to deal with Cherry KX, her Sage Walls, her slows. And those slows are very effective for stalling for time. It allows for Magnifique's players to rotate over onto B. It's so much to consider for Renatus, and I don't think executes are the answer. They need to find duels, they need to find picks somehow. Whether it's a default, whether it's a slow and steady push, they need to do it. Rushes won't work.
Yeah, they really need to get a little bit more map control. For a map as big as Breeze, no map control just means you're gonna get collapsed on, and that's what happened so many times in each of their losses.
There we go. Sage wall. One panel is open, but the slow orb is there. And the rotates are starting to happen as well. Look at where Tokibi is going. Off with the sheriffs as well. They need to make them count.
It's funny that they're playing slow in this round because they're on eco, but I think it should actually be the opposite. And Cherry with a headshot onto Envious.
It's just a firing range again for Cherry KX. Look at this. Coming around the side. Easy frag. Easy spray. 3 players already gone for Renatus. It's very difficult to push out of B main unless you find a duel somehow. They need the smokes. Now standing on the other side. Magnifique are just waiting for them to walk into their crosshairs.
Yeah, for Renatus White, they probably just want a few pickoffs just to make the round a little bit more worth it for them, because that's a full armor in Kefradite with Sheriff, and Kohai be light armor plus Sheriff. Oh, there we go.
One. Not the second, but good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, it's still wasn't really worth it at all for them though. The Sheriff buys, they only got 1 kill.
Economically, game-wise, yeah, it's not the best thing, but getting that 1 frag, I mean, it's better than a flawless at the very least.
Yeah,
in terms
for
of
sure.
your mental, your spiritual aspects, you won't feel.
You
as
want that
bad.
morale.
Yeah, exactly. Morale. And speaking of morale, where are the RTS White fans in the chat? Where are you guys? Because they need support now more than ever. This
Yeah,
is map number 3.
Gotta
This
channel
is
that energy
lower
ball.
bracket. Yeah. We gotta do the Goku
The
spirit,
spirit
bomb thing.
bomb. Yeah.
Citizens of the Earth, I need your energy. Technical timeout, which will be a nice little brief moment of respite. You get to take a pause and think about your strats. Think about what hasn't been going right for you.
So, I want to talk about economy here again, of course.
Of course.
Aphrodite had the Sheriff buy plus a full armor in the previous round, which would have put her at 3.5k in this round, able to buy a gun for Chloe. But because of that Sheriff plus full armor buy, she does not have that. So, really, I think the teams have to know when to just full eco. There are some times where if you have enough money for half a buy, it doesn't mean you should go for a half buy. A full eco means that you have 2 full buys the next round instead of a full buy, and then if you lose, another eco, right? So I think this is the thing that some of the teams are really just not taking a look into, because it's not just the next round that you all have to think about. You have to think about the next 2 rounds. Like, if they lose this next round, they don't have money again. On the other hand, if they saved in the previous round, they would have enough money for the next round, even though they lose this round. And those sheriff buys really cost them. Sometimes a sheriff without armor is good enough, but at least having 2k in the bank, I forgot the exact number, really ensures that you have money to buy for the next 2 rounds. 2k is the number, because if you lose, it's 2.9k. So it's a rifle every time you lose on max bonus. If you have 2k, that just ensures that you get the rifle plus armor in the next 2 rounds.
That was very well put, well said. I know most people clip moments on Twitch for those big plays, but this is something that you need to be paying attention to, viewers, because this is Marquis the Economist. That's some quick math that I've not even considered, but it really shows, because if Kfradaddy hadn't bought up that much in the previous round, she would have been able, like you said, to drop for Chloe. And higher firepower, especially with Vandals with a 1-taps on a huge map like this, is gonna help you so much. So economy wise, maybe they'll be able to buy back. Chloe, not the best buy, but 3-6 is the scoreline, and we could be looking at a 3-7 if I'm being honest. Just looking at how Renatus have been playing, they need to be a lot more careful about their approaches. Trailblazer in, it's going to bump into each other. Mochi gets some information. Poison orb goes up.
It's gonna be hard to push against this Viper plus Sky. They just have so much utility to discourage you from going to the site or to punish you while you're out in the open. That's the problem with this A site here. Once you pass by that doorway, it's just open, and you don't know where to look.
I've got your trail.
Well, orb will drop. Toxic screen goes up for Renatus. Will they know where to look after this? That's the question, because playing around the pyramids is quite scary. Tokibi has been fragging out of her mind right now, so a lot of utility spent pushes them back, and then Deline is in a perfect position but doesn't get the frags. Kohivi knew where to look, and thankfully enough, that puts them at the numbers advantage. Now they rotate back on towards B. Envy is lurking around mid, even better. Chloe finding the extra frag, just doing so much better. A nice switch around, and all of a sudden Magnifique have no idea how to deal with this.
Yes, it is exactly what they needed. The map control, having someone in middle to take that control, really helped out a lot for them. Not forcing that A side. They got Sherry as well, and Alyssa. It's gonna be a 1v4 for her. We saw her clutch at 1v3, but this seems like a tall task. Kohivi is just gonna take her down, and it's gonna be 4-6 for Renatus Gaming. And this is what they need on the attacking side, right? Like a more dynamic offense, not just running into the site and then getting picked off one by one.
That was amazing. I mean, you see it how they play that, how they took their time, play it slowly, play it calculated, having players look around mid, Envious, and then Kohivi. This is what they should be doing. This is what they should be doing, not what we saw in Icebox. They need to do this again. The technical timeout actually worked wonders for them. I mean, I know it was technical, but they used that time to talk and think it through. You saw the pings on the minimap. This time around, you got players watching mid, you got players up around shop to seize the ult orb. This is good.
This is really good. They are changing the pace. They are controlling the pace. In fact, I'd say it is what they needed, especially not just running into Mag's crosshairs, taking those aim duels.
But on the other hand, map control is not their friend right now. It's a very big map, and Magnifique have split themselves up. Now the wall goes up, it slows them down even further. They only have 1 minute left. Working as a team though, they take it down completely. Bob the Builder cannot fix it anymore, and they push in. but Deline still finds one square in the face. It's a 4v5 duel. They need control over the side really quick. Kohibi will be able to find one. Immediately gets traded, though. It will be Chloe. Deline coming around from the backside, though. This could be huge. She spots the spike. They pick it up. She takes Kphrodite down. It's all up to Envious.
And that's the Viper spit down as well.
Seconds left.
Oh my gosh. Updraft and tailwinds. Toxic Screen goes down. Needs to get the flick. She finds the first one. No, pulls out the knife. Oh! Canna Z! Just scratches her away.
Last round.
Yeah, that knife fallout has punished players so many times, and it's just not at the right moment to actually do that. She was pushing forward instead of like I get switching to the knife to run for cover, but switching to your knife after a first frag where they could potentially be playing a trade angle, which is what they did, just easily gets punished.
So unfortunate. She just happened to be in that 1v2. The spike was dropped around the back, but very, very well played by Cannon Z, I have to say. And not just her as well, Deline. The fact that they knew the spike was down, I think, was the one thing that changed it completely. But here we go. Nice way to start things off. Envious finding the opening pick. No more Sage, no more walls. Renatus might be able to do this. This is the last round before the first half. A 7-5 would be so much better instead of an 8-4. Oh, but Deline, here's the footsteps. She knows they're coming up around elbow. She could pull off a flank key.
Might be a really big flank, but MochiX might just spot it. Oh, she looks away in time.
No.
Oh, no. Almost got the timing there, but Deline hears her footsteps coming in. And Mochi did not have the gun out. Kohibi is going to take Deline down, and it's looking really good for Renatus White, and they just clean up.
Switching sides.
5-7. Cleanup crew has arrived. They're starting to play it a lot more strategically, a lot more tactically. And this is the Renatus White that we, the Singaporean fans, were hoping for.
It's definitely showing up right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mochi, you know, around that time, very unfortunate, but a very nice instant adaptation. I mean, the information, the communication is starting to happen a lot more clearly for Renatus. Instantly dealing with the person who is trying to flank, and then recognizing that, okay, they only have two other sides that they can come from. But here we go. It's the swap. It's the attacking side for Magnifique, and they're looking to pull off an A execute. Kohibi, though, peeking out of mid doors, instantly finds one. Kphrodite looking to slow them down with the snake bites.
Yes, able to buy a little bit of time for a team to rotate here. They're not even in sight yet, and Kohibi, with the overheal, is going to be really healthy. With the ghost, they're dishing a lot of damage onto the attackers here. Slowly creeping into the side. Kphrodite, 1 HP left because of that decay. Playing around a toxic screen, great play by her. Nice wraparound, gets another headshot onto Alyssa, and it's going to be a pretty clean round for Renatus White. Only lost Kohibi.
Very, very nice adaptation, and I think it was the mid plays from Kohibi that, you know, you get a lot of information off of it. Mid doors is a very crucial position, especially around the A site, because you're able to find information, or at the very least some control over mid. At the same time, you can rotate around back and support your teammates up around A cave. So it's a 6-7. Renatus are starting to come back, but now the question in my head is, how will Magnifique respond to this? Very aggressive. Elisa, the airbender, dashes in, gets dropped down to 2 HP, but she goes right back. They have so much control over mid right now for Magnifique, and they can actually use this to push deep in towards enemy lines, but Kohibi looks to stop it. Chloe plus Kohibi plus the rest of the squad are descending upon them right now. Every single player is getting hunted down for Magnifique.
It's all down to Tokibi. They know where she is, though. She used the guiding light to actually flash out. Oh, she took one down. Okay, I mean, better than a flawless, right? But 7-7 now, and Renatus White are catching up. Defensive side really looks so much better for them.
A lot better. But here it is. Here it is, Key. Full buy. Is this going to be a 2-1, or are Renatus actually going to steal away the bonus round? And I think they could because of the Bulldog buys. Bulldog buys on second round have been starting to show up more and more. And it's actually not the worst or best thing in the world, because either you lose your Bulldog or you manage to keep it. And it's like kind of a in between of a Spectre plus a rifle in towards the bonus round right now. But instantly we see Deline pushing up, gaining quick control over mid. They might actually be able to pull off an A split at this point.
Yeah, Kohibi also getting taken down there, but even though she was peeking with the drone from Chloe, she gets taken down by Tokibi. Aphrodite though with the headshot with the Marshall. It'll be a bit scary if she lands these shots. Switches to the Ghost, takes Alyssa down. Still as the Marshall is trapped open on site though. Tokibi takes her out.
Very well
to
played.
Mochi?
Mm-hmm.
Bulldog.
Mochi plus Bulldog up towards mid. Do they know that she's here? Even if they do, it's a 1v3 fight. And she's creeping up onto site. She has one more Hawk, though. So that's pretty good. But has to find those duels. Oh, information now. And she has to flick between two players. So difficult. Actually landed her crosshairs on it, but the peaks, man, with the two players. You know, they're just so in sync, knowing exactly when to peek her. And they actually win those duels. So Magnifique now 8-7. They're starting to figure out the Renatus defenses. I mean, this is only round 3 of the second half, but the way that they're approaching it, it's very different from how Renatus approached it on their attacking side.
Yeah, it took Renatus a little bit more time to actually figure it out. For Magnifique, it seems like they have a little bit of a rough idea, but this is going to be the first gun versus gun round for both teams. We'll see if they can actually break through Renatus' defense with the exact same firepower.
We shall see. They recognize that there has been a lot of movement up towards mid, and that's why Chloe's going in to scout it out. But just as that happens, Magnifique make a quick adaptation. They slow things down. Now they're looking to push out of B main, but it gets stopped by Kohibi. So that's the thing about using Seekers way too early. Yes, you get some information.
You also give information.
Exactly. You give information, and the Seekers just don't do that much, because what you want is for the Seekers to actually either connect onto someone or alert you that, okay, there's someone in a specific position, not just a rough call out. Wow. Snakebite plus the repositioning from Envious. And now Magnifique starting to fall apart. They're slowing down, but ooh, blind fires from Envious punishes her. But she's able to do that because Aphrodite is supporting her up around the pyramids.
And this 8-8 now, it's the closest map we've seen in the series.
You know what else is close? It's the top fraggers, Deline and Kohibi.
There is no Reina diff.
Whew. This is deserving of the third map. Very, very nice from both sides. It all comes down to the adaptations. I mean, they look very even in terms of fragging potential. The only thing was that Renatus weren't performing as well because of their attacking side, but now that they're on defense, they're definitely a lot more comfortable. But so are Magnifique, because they are able to adapt on the fly. But here we go now. This time they try to push up halls. Chloe shuts that down. Viper's Pit even. What can you do?
There's the Blade Storm by TM on Alyssa. Armor, pistol, and Blade Storm.
Blade Storm by. Trademarked. Elisa was the one who got the 1v3 clutch, though, so I do believe. But Tokibi now. Quick control over halls. Chloe tucking her tail between her legs and running off. She is really low. Interestingly enough, though, Sherry KX still hovering around this Viper's Pit. She's expecting one of them to push past it, but Renatus know a little bit better than that. Oh, this will be a lot of information.
Yeah, it just looks so difficult for them to even rotate now. There's only 35 seconds left.
Elisa missing her knives. Gets punished. And there's the push in. Cherry KX drops the spike. It's up to Tokibi now. Got 2 Hawks. 15 seconds. She's
10
looking to
seconds
save.
left.
She's still really close to the spike though. Does she just want to try to go for an exit frag here? I guess this is probably the best corner for you to hide in.
You don't have to worry too much about halls unless someone creeps up or drops down. And even if they do that, you get some information. And she will be able to carry her Vandal on to the next round.
Not sure for the rest of her team though.
Exactly. Buys economy?
No.
Not the
None.
best. Yeah. But at the very least, she coordinates her economy with the rest of her team. So they're saving up and everything. She has a Vandal. It's around the same price. If she dies, she might be able to afford like a Bulldog in the next round. So
Yeah.
I don't know. See how it goes. But Magnifique right now trying to explode on towards the A site. They're pushing past the toxic screens. K4Daddy tries to slow them down, but so far so good. They use the wall to find some safe corners to get the spike planted. Oh, but look at that angle. Just going in the firing squad, finding all the frags. Deline coming back around mid doors, picks up a Vandal
Just gonna
and
save
backs
it.
off.
Team Ace.
This
But
is
you
not
don't-
bad.
Yeah, you don't get a penalty because the spike went down, so she can save this Vandal.
Plus, spike down, economy boost. That's what they were hoping for.
You're here.
That's why they rushed past the toxic screens and everything that K4Daddy threw at them.
Yeah, at least they're gonna get guns for this round. The game is still really close, 10-8 right now. Renatus white with a 2-round lead already, so that's looking really good for them. They also have the operator on K4Daddy, so that's gonna. Oh no, it's on Envious now, so that's gonna be really scary.
Question is, where is Envious positioned? She's looking down a cave. And she has to make her shots count. I think she spotted out that little hovering VFX.
Yeah.
So she knows that there was a jet around that spot, but backs off.
They also know there's an operator now though, so they might just change their minds about this. The snake by trying to flush a corner out won't be enough. You really don't know where the operator is at this point.
Oh, Lisa.
The jump peak.
Nice blind. Gains them some positioning. They push in now. Cloudburst to block Envious off. This is good. Magnifique are smart. They are able to take K4Daddy down, and then the Viper Spit gets deployed. It's all up to Chloe to stop this because she has her arrows. Oh, go IB as well, though. Deline. I think she saw her.
Yeah, she knows because her teammate died on B, trying to rotate on arches. Oh, it's actually going to be a full rotation to B.
What? But the Viper's Pit. They're trying to sell a fake, but Renatus are not biting.
Wait,
30
okay,
seconds left.
Cannon peeking
From
through mid doors there.
mid-doors?
Yeah, through mid doors on
And then
Envious.
they're rotating. Look at this. Uh-oh. 3v2 now. And it's going to take them quite a bit of time just to make it to B.
Wait,
If it all comes down to macro timing, Magnifique might actually be able to cut them off on the rotate.
I'm not sure why they threw the recon onto A.
I think because they thought... They should know, but they thought the spike was planted on A, or in case anyone was still lurking around that spot, just to check. But here goes. At this point, you only got 20 seconds left.
Yep.
15
There's
seconds.
There's really no time. They can't even get on the spike for the defuse in time, so they're just going to go for exit frags here.
What a big brain execute from Magnifique, dude.
I have no words. It's just
It's incredible. Okay, let's break it down real quick. They went in. They dealt with Envious because of Tokibi's guiding light, the Hawk, and then Elisa with the Cloudburst just to, block off the operator even further. And then they came in with the Viper's Pit, which really sold the tell, like, okay, maybe they are on the A site. Because a Viper's Pit is a very big question mark. Either there are several players in there, which tends to happen quite often, but there wasn't that much movement, that much noise. Meanwhile, there were players up towards B, which just made Kohibi so confused. She was eyeing down that Archer's position. But regardless, here we go. It's the next round. Kfredite has the operator this time. It gets slowed though. Guiding lights again. Envy is holding the off angle. This could be huge. Whoa! Shots through the toxic screen. She stops the plant.
A really important kill there. Now it's down to 5v3. Kohibi takes Cannon Z down as well, and the spike is going to be retrieved. So they do have the spike. They can choose to go to B if they want to, but Sky is actually stuck in this corner here. Oh, the Kiwi though says that she's not the one stuck. Envious is the one stuck. Just trying to peek her, and now it's down to 3v4, and there's a big flank going on. Deline.
Oh, but they're kind of aware of it. They're sending people to check. Spike rotating as well. Deline is calling the site clear, but the one that she really has to look out for, and this is the problem, because Breeze is such a big map. You have to think about arches, you have to think about mid.
Yeah, there's 3 A players on Renatus, so there's only Mochi X.
Come on, Magnifique. We're pushing in. Okay, Elisa should be able to get spiked down, and then Renatus rotates. 4v3, but they're going to be a little bit slow. It all comes down to how well Deline and the rest of the team can actually slow the push from arches. Smart, though, for Kohibi to come up around B tunnel.
Yeah, at least make them look at different angles here.
Oh, drone as well. 30 seconds. Deline, here's the footsteps, comes back in, sprays one down. Lear goes up. And it slows them down even further. 3 players still all alive. And there it goes, the execution. Simultaneous kills from the side of Magnifique, and they even up the score. It's a 10-10 now, Key.
Yeah, look, the Breeze is so big that by the time they planted and rotated, Renatus only had about 20-25 seconds left to actually finish off everyone on Magnifique's side and get the defuse. So I think that their rotations have to be really a lot faster here. They're really not getting the information that they need. The rotates are a bit slow on, especially towards B. Like, even though they could get those kills slowly, they still had to get into sight. They had to get kills one by one. Although, of course, Magnifique made quick work of them, but it didn't seem like they even had the time to choose what to do. They just needed to walk out in the open and hope they land the shots if someone peeks.
100% agree. Renatus need to be a little bit more mobile. I mean, you always have that thought about, like, okay, but if I over-rotate, then that's not going to be so good for me. But when you have that many players on your team, when you have 4 in a 4v3 situation, you can afford to split that 4 up into 2s.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. So that's why Magnifique are actually able to claw back. I love watching this because it's always fun to think about the attacking side and how they're able to break down the defender setup, because they're the ones that get to throw the questions. It's kind of like a math. I've talked about this before. It's like a math problem sum. You always get posed with a question, and then it's up to you to figure out, like, okay, there's a little bit of a clue here that I get some information. I need to add plus subtract this number or whatever it is, and then you solve the problem. And that's exactly what Magnifique are doing. They're playing it slow. They get information. They get some clues as to where Renatus are positioned, and then they work around that. They're pulling off rotates. I mean, look at Deline again. She's up deep mid.
Yeah, that one flank giving them a lot of information really gives them like an inkling of how many players are in A. Are there rotates? Will I stop the rotate? And they don't need to peek that angle, and Kfredite gets tagged down.
I mean, don't need to, but Kfredite did, and now she has to pay the price. She's down to 26. They have control over the A side again, and the spike goes down. This is even faster. And look at where Renatus are coming from, all the way from spawn. By the time they reach site, by the time they start their execute, they only have about 35 seconds left.
And they haven't picked anyone off. It's a 5v5 retake, so they have to check every single corner because there's still 5 members alive. And Sherry gets the first kill. Deline from mid doors. Now it's down to 3v5. Deline takes another one. Alyssa, another one as well. No, not flawless anymore. You jinxed it. Chloe takes Deline down, but it's still 1v4, and it looks almost impossible to get this. Alyssa gets Chloe as the wall goes down, and Magnifique are in the lead.
incredible. Magnifique! Magnificent strats!
I was
mean-
waiting for that.
That little wordplay. But it really is true, though. Okay. I mean, I'm seeing on the team info sheet that we have that Deline is the IGL. And if that is true, she's such an incredibly smart player because every single time she recognizes that, hey, I have quite a bit of free real estate up around mid. As long as I'm careful, I'm able to push in, get some information for my team. Meanwhile, my team actually just plays safe, baits out utility up around A cave. And then they work around this. This is brilliant. I mean, I want to say Susu, Magnifique, like support for the Thai teams, but they don't even need it because they're that good.
Yeah, the 4-1 split is working out for them, and Deline is going to get caught out though. Finally, Renatus White have had a good read, and that is Deline on the flank. They punished that flank, and now it's up to the rest of Magnifique to actually take the side.
Dude, it's Reina versus Reina, and Kohibi is a little bit more cognizant of Deline's deep lurks and rotations this time around. So now that one player is gone, they have information up around mid. They confirm that it's going to be a play up around A cave, and that's why Kfreddy is trying to blind spray past the toxic screens in case anyone pushes out. Now they should be hearing all these sandy footsteps. Kohibi and Envious, you better be prepared. They spot her out, they spray her down, it's a crossfire!
Alyssa wasn't ready for that. Kohibi overheals yet again to full. And now it's down to 3 players on Magnifique. Tokibi actually gets a kill. Renatus are confused. They don't know where the spike is. The Seekers went out off of A, and that is information that they're using to their advantage. Renatus think that it's actually on A. Kohibi punishes cannons though. The plant does go down. Tokibi and Cherry have to play this 2v3, but Cherry gets taken down. Tokibi is not even near this map. It's just too big.
Main. Blind sprays. Oh! Okay. At least they got it halfway. Kohibi coming in to save the day. 4 kills for her in this round. And thankfully she was the one on site to call it out to her team. The spike is here! The spike is here on B!
Wow, we're actually on 11-11. This Breeze map
I don't want
is
to
actually
jinx
delivering.
it, but you think overtime is possible, Key?
It's definitely possible. Look at the buys on both sides. I think if Magnifique actually take this, it's gonna be difficult for Renatus because they won't have a good buy. But if Renatus take this one, Magnifique still has a pretty decent buy coming to the next round.
My God, I absolutely love this though. Both teams showing why they are so deserving of being in the playoffs. I mean, whether you're a Singaporean fan or a Thai fan, you have to love this. Both sides are just so good. It's a nice ebb and flow, give and take. Information is the nation right now. And Kfreddy is looking to stop the same bit of aggression from Cave. But what it really is utility baiting from Magnifique. That's one snake bite gone. And in fact, actually, Kfreddy doesn't have any more utility. She only has her Viper's Pit now.
Well, if I just needed one utility, that would be the utility for me to use. I just use it on A and then discourage him from coming in. But it seems like they don't want to do that because they're not sure where the Lurker is.
Whoa. Lurker is still up around mid. And Kohibi was worried about that, but getting this one frag confirms it's an A hit. Now the execute's coming forward, and they take Envious down. It's a 3v3.
30 seconds left.
Now down to 3v2. Deline gets that one frag. Mochi X.
No, Mochi.
Will she clear this corner? Yes, she does. With that Spectre, takes Deline down. Now it's down to a 2v2. Oh, the knives. Takes the knife to the head, and it's down to Kohibi.
That is
1v2 right now.
That is some ninja moves. Tokibi swinging around the right side, and she gets a neat headshot on towards Kohibi.
Yeah, that was great play by them.
Dude.
This is where it gets dicey. Renatus, like I said, they had to win that round because even though it's 11-11, the order in which you win the round actually matters. Because if Renatus took the first one, they'd have enough of a buy for this one. But look at their economy right now. Only one gun. Only one rifle on Kohibi. The rest, Stinger. Chloe Stinger light armor even. She can't even get a Spectre with heavy.
That's a big yikes for me. Now Kfredati deploys the Viper Spit. She was saving it for this round. So hopefully this locks out the A cave entrance. They shouldn't be pushing into this. All Renatus need to worry about is either mid or B. But because of their weaponry, it's a little bit more difficult. Nice little hawk by Mochi X gets some information. And Magnifique wants to press the green light. They're going in for it. Kohibi goes in to stop one. Gets quite a bit as well. Now they have to worry about elbow even. Mochi, though, coming to worry about the left side. Doesn't think about the right. She gets fragged out. It's a 4v4. The spike goes down. And Renatus need to be quick.
You have to be quick, but Kohibi still has a rifle there.
No. Oh, Kohibi gets deleted. And that just makes it all that much more difficult. Thankfully, Kfredati is able to pick up the Phantom, but with all this utility, Chloe has to make something work. The Hunter's Fury happened a little bit too late. Now it's a 2v3. They got only about 20 seconds left. Kfredati has to be the one to do it. No! Elisa! All the way from B tunnel. Shoots her down. And this ends it. 13-11. Renatus White are out of the FSL Valorant Open 5.
This was honestly an unexpected result for me. I thought that Renatus White would actually make it to top 4, but seeing Magnifique play out that map and take both maps away from Renatus White, they took away both map picks from them. I think we're starting to see a shift in the power dynamics here. Honestly, for Renatus White, I really expected them to do a lot more, especially against Galaxy Racer and Magnifique. I really rated them as top 4 coming into this playoffs. But it seems like there is going to be a power vacuum right now. Galaxy Racer looked really good. Magnifique didn't look so good against LT Eagle Celeste, but took the series off of Renatus White. And I think that's something new, and we're starting to see more of the Thai teams starting to dominate the servers.
Truly. I mean, Kid My Orc 2-0 against Arakat Aresta in the other lower bracket. And right now, Magnifique just showing us up. I mean, this is incredible. The way that they're able to figure out the defensive setups and then to work around that, it's just so good. And Renatus White, I'm sorry, like, I really believe in this girls, but they need to go back to the drawing board. Their attacking side needs to be worked on. And I think ultimately that was what lost them this game. I mean, on Breeze, if they actually went in, they were 5-7, if I recall correctly, at the end of the first half, which was not too bad. But if they actually had the 7-5 instead of the 5-7, you might be seeing a different outcome.
Yeah.
So, very unfortunate, but at the very least, this is a great learning experience. You see how teams like Magnifique are really putting in a lot of work and effort to think about the game, and all these adaptations put them out on top.
Yeah, it is really much better play and quicker adaptations, like you mentioned. You could tell that they start to get a read of Renatus White's movements, especially on the attacking side, with the way they shuffle their defenses around, with the way they actually try to get more information. And for Renatus White, their attacking side, for both Breeze and Icebox, we could really see that they're relatively a bit more one-dimensional. The 4-1 split for Magnifique really helped out in their side executes, and being able to move from being able to call mid-round whether to switch sides or to go mid instead or to employ a different strategy really helped out on the attacking side for Magnifique.
It's just incredible watching these girls play. And I have to say, because, I don't know what's going on in the chat, but whether you're a Singaporean fan or a Thai fan, you have just been treated to an incredible game of Valorant on Breeze. It went the full rounds, 13-11. That is as close as it gets. So whether you're, whatever team you're supporting for, it doesn't matter, because we're all Valorant fans here. And this is a master class at how you're actually able to outthink and outsmart your opponents. Both teams did exactly that, whether it was the attacking side or the defending side. It was just awesome. So Other than that, though, Singaporean fan, Thai fan, I hope you guys stay because the next game is going to be an even bigger one. It's the upper bracket finals. And just remind me real quick, Key, I know that you know this. What are the teams that are going to be playing in that upper bracket final?
It's going to be Alter Ego Celeste versus Galaxy Racer. Of course, Team House buff for Galaxy Racer. Alter Ego Celeste defending Queens for 4 opens in a row for this year.
Oh, man, it's going to be a huge game. Galaxy Racer pretty much leading, I think, second or third place in our FSL circuit leaderboard. And then Alter Ego Celeste, like you just said, 4 times champion. Will they actually be dethroned this time? Because there is a chance. I got some insider information from our other caster, Eliza Taylor. I know you're watching, you're hiding and you're waiting. She's got some secrets because she was there at that team house. So we're going to be talking about that after the break. But other than that, guys, Singaporean fans, Thai fans, Indonesian fans, Filipino fans, everyone, please stay here. Don't go away. We'll be right back after a quick break.